Happy New Year, my friends. Welcome to 2021. I'm having a little chuckle here because as Gunfox pointed out, Boomer Vision probably has the wrong time and date on this stream, but you know, that's how it goes. I don't care. It's a Happy New Year. I got the Bloody Mary going here because, well, actually, it's a Virgin Mary, but it's the best Bloody Mary mix I've had in a long time, and I'm drinking it. I don't care because it's delicious. No coffee today, no. Although I do have a hot bourbon waiting for me too. But anyway, welcome. Today we're just gonna have some fun. I decided to make this an open line day. Hopefully, a couple of my friends that I invite will show up also. That some of you probably know. But welcome to the show, and it's the 500th episode of the Morning Night Live. By the way, we got a couple donations just prior to me opening the show, so let's hit those real quick. First of all, thank you, GunFox61. Oh wait, you know what I just realized? Sometimes you're not always 100% prepared because you got up a little too late, but hey, here we go. We'll figure it out in just 2 and 2. Gunfox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
With the $3. Thank you, Gunfox, who says, Boomer Vision brought to you by American Bats, proud sponsor of the PDawgKnight Show and Friday Night Boomer Vision, and by American Bricks. Need to build a house or smack a commie? Use American Bricks, mob approved. Yes! First commercial of the day, and that one's fantastic. Both of my recurring sponsors, yes, American Bats and American Bricks are affiliated companies, two divisions of the same overlord corporate behemoth. Also, thank you, Gunfox, for another $3, which continues you being...
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you again. Take 3 energy drink. When the first 2 times fail, power up with the Take 3 and power through your day or life's hits. Proud sponsor of the PDawgKnight Show, a new sponsor. I love it. Keep bringing those new sponsors in, everybody. Like I said, if you can't think of anything, make a new sponsor and just make an ad. We love doing that here. If you're not familiar with that I was going to say that form of treachery, but that's not treachery. Anyway, drinks up, play the intro. I'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight.
And stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live on the first day of the year in 2021. I am your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome to the Dawg Knight Channel on this Friday, January 1, 2021. It's the 500th episode of the Morning Night Live, and it is a call-in show. If you want to if you want to get in line to get in, pop in and say hi, and basically I want to find out a couple things. What you think your favorite or biggest story of 2020 is, and a prediction for 2021. You know, I don't know if I have a favorite story. There was so much going on this year. It's just a crazy, nutty year. But I'm going to figure it out as my friends in the chat join me here and there. And like I said, there's the link to the line for the call-in is in the description down below. It'll show up in the chat every once in a while too, if you want to jump on and say hi. And we'll just, do them real quick. Hopefully we'll run through a few people. But anyway, let's do a real quick good morning to everyone in the chat, though. People who are already here. We've already got 15 people here. Hopefully more people show up. I put the wrong time on the stream when I was setting it up last night, so bear with me. Maybe some people will start getting notifications. But anyway, first in the chat today was our friend and great sponsor, GunFox61, who gets the bell. Also, good morning to Special K on Acid, Woodcutter, Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning to Special K on, did I say Special K on Acid? I already did, didn't I? Michael Hatfield, nice to see you back. Also, good morning to Stab and Joe Scarborough, Renee Mayette, Happy New Year, James PFP, let's see, Uncle Bobbity's in the house, fantastic. Becca Fairley, hello, dear. Thank you for, I'm going to thank you in advance because I know you probably did this already. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Well, I know you usually do. You usually tweet out the show, but you've been a very good friend of the show. Also, good morning, W.R. Costin. And that's everyone in the chat. There's some more people here, but we'll figure it out. It's New Year's Day, and I'm wondering, I guess my question is, how many people actually did any form of partying last night? I'm curious about that. Oh, and also real quick, let me hit the super chat. Thank you, Stab and Joe Scarborough with the 5 spot, who says, congratulations, P-Dawg. Your voice and insight add to all our days. Glad to see you're getting better. Keep your knife sharp. Well, I send that sentiment right back to you. Keep your knife sharp, Joe, but just be careful with them in terms. Anyway, like I said, I do have, like I said, it's, now I didn't really drink last night. I mean, I had a couple hot bourbons and that's about it. In fact, my New Year's Eve was Scribe, how you doing? Thank you. Good morning, Scribe Light. Congrats on 500 shows. Scribe, if you want, you can jump in. The link's in the description down below. Hopefully you have a couple moments. Thank you very much. And I know it's for Scribe, it's really early in the morning after New Year's Eve. Now okay, so here's my question. What did y'all do last night? With all the restrictions around the country, with all the things going on, I am just curious, what did you do last night? Because we kept it pretty mellow, right? We, Lady Boomer and I went and bought a bunch of crab legs, and we took our crab leg steaming pot over to her mom's house, or mom's apartment, and we steamed some crab legs and had a champagne toast early in the evening, and we started to watch CNN's New Year's Eve, show they do every year, because I was just curious of what it was going to look like, because they're doing these shows from Times Square, but they weren't letting very many people into Times Square. It was really weird. And it was Anderson Cooper and this, I don't know the other guy's name, but they're just very the other guy's very flamboyant. Anderson Cooper's very reserved, and they were going like having, almost like having Zoom calls with people in their homes. Like they had Patti LaBelle, and they're just, oh, you're so great, Patti, and Patty's, oh, you're so great, you guys, and oh, you're so great. It was like, it was annoying as hell. And then they have, you see down into Times Square, and they have a very few people there. They allowed some people. They invited some people out there, but they had these blow up squares that were like 8 feet by 8 feet, right? And these partitions, and then and then they'd have like 4 or 5 people in each of the partitions, and they were all like distance from each other. It was almost cringy, but I understand. I mean, I get it. They're trying to think about, making it look good for COVID, and I'm sure the New York mayor and New York governor said there damn well better not be any people there. If I live in New York, I'd have just gone there and said, fuck it, I'm coming down here, arrest me, motherfucker. But it was just weird. it was weird. And then they had this I mean, this cringy Sherry O'Terry, if you remember her from Saturday Night Live, back in probably the late 90s, early 2000s. They had her come on, like they beamed her in, and she does this impression of Barbara Walters. It's like, okay, this tells me the demographic that's probably watching that. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh shit, I might be part of that demographic because I'm watching this crap. I'm like, who thought that Barbara Walters would be funny, right? Who thought Barbara? Oh, good. Oh, there you go. There's okay. Let me add Scribe in here real quick. Good morning, Scribe.
Good morning, P-Dawg.
How are you, my friend?
Awake at this hour. I had to do some work and stuff per usual to get the month-end, year-end stuff out of the way. So I was up at 4 per my regular schedule.
Oh my goodness! Oh man, yeah, it's early for you. It's early.
I mean, but now it's okay. But I mean, yeah, it's early for us on the left coast is the best coast.
Although you do, I mean, you tend to be up early. It's just that you're always working.
Yep. Just the nature of the job. I have to be up early, and I kind of have to do it every day. So it's just one of those things. But hey, Happy New Year! Glad that you're on the recovery for the coof.
Yeah.
And as far as like New Year's celebrations, I mean, yeah, Times Square wasn't exactly hopping, but man, Wuhan was having an absolute blast, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they were. Also, you know, I when I was doing my show yesterday, I caught some of the New Zealand because they're way earlier than us. And yeah, they had people out in the street partying and stuff, but you know, they were an island. They've been able to keep it. They restricted everybody almost as hardly as China did. Mm-hmm. So you know, they were able to do it. And then there was fireworks in Australia. I couldn't tell if they had people out there, but yeah, Wuhan was rocking.
Yeah. Almost like it was a show or something for the world. Like, look how far we've come and how much we're safe now.
Yeah, look how much in your face we can put this. You know, fuck you Americans or some shit like that. I don't know if that's they intended to do, but yeah, it was kind of weird. But so what did you? I know I listened to you guys' show last night, and you guys went past 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we started an hour later than usual, and just decided to. I mean, I think in years past we might have gone 3 hours, like start the usual times, go an extra hour, but Satsa decided to go an hour later just so we'd line up with the New Year's. So by the time we got to the end of the show, since we were an hour further in than I'm usually used to, I was like, I'm sleepy. Yeah. And I still had 3 hours or whatever until our New Year's here. So I knew I had to get up in the morning, so I immediately, because I'm an old man now, I immediately went to bed. And then around midnight my time, boom! Somebody like knocked off a cannonball or something.
Oh, really?
Streets later, I was like, oh, and then fireworks went off. I was like, yeah, okay. So yeah, I didn't really do any partying or anything because there wasn't anything to do. So Lords of the Night is my party.
Sure. No,
that was my party.
No, and it was a fun show last night. I caught a part of the end of it. Then Lady Boom and I started to watch a movie, and I fell asleep at 11:25, and she says, "Go to bed." You know, because I'm an early riser too. I mean, I'm always up at 3 in the morning. I'm usually up when Monkey does his Monkey in the morning, which kind of tells you what that is, because this could be any time. But
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. 500 episodes.
Yes.
So, in being a regular morning personality presenter, what do you think has been the most important thing you've learned about broadcasting and entertaining from episode 1 till now?
Oh,
for yourself. I mean, for yourself. What have you improved in, or what have you gotten over, or what do you think?
The hardest thing for me is, even when I would do public speaking when I was younger, I have a terrible tendency to say and I've been trying so hard to minimize that. I still say it quite a bit, but that was the hardest thing. And just there it is. Sometimes just making sure that I have enough to talk about. I'm not necessarily. I'm not one to do a lot of stuff off the top of my head, although every once in a while I can go on a pretty good rant. But just making sure I have enough material, because especially the fact that I stream alone, where I can't bounce things off people as much, that makes it a challenge, because I'm talking for an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes by myself most of the time.
Yes.
So I thought of bringing in regular guests like on Fridays, and I've part of it is just me not reaching out to people as much as I probably should to do that, but that's been the toughest thing. But as far as it just gets easier the more you do it, though. And that it's become at this point it's very easy for me to do something like this, which at the beginning it was like dead air. This is dead air.
Yeah, I think eventually, if you do it enough, you find your own rhythm to it, and either people respond to that or they don't, or you find an audience that likes it or doesn't, and kind of how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
One thing that you guys do that I like is that you guys actually have a format. You have, you're going to do this from this to this to this time, this from this to this time, this from this to this time, and I a lot of times. The other part too is sometimes I don't get to my computers until maybe 5 minutes before I have to start streaming, because of just sometimes at work. So the winging it part has been a challenge, but I've been able to get better at doing that too. So
the advantage of having the format is that it's the old line that I first heard in a DuckTales: works smarter, not harder. And so if you have a format, you don't have to do a whole lot of thinking about what happens next.
Right.
And especially when you got, three guys who get along with each other and have a lot to say, it just happens of its own accord. And I've been rightfully called like the format freak and everything, because there was early on in the show, I got irritated or kind of frustrated because we'd be just wandering and blathering all over the place, and it's kind of like I just need structure, some kind of structure, something to hang my hat on, and so that's where that all comes from. But it works out pretty good, I think.
Sure. So okay, so let me ask you now. I know you guys talk a lot about topical things throughout the year. Give me one story that, and then there's out of thousands of stories. Give me one story that comes to mind that represents 2020 for you.
God, I mean, we've been bombarded with. It seems like the entire year was just like one story or two stories.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, in sort of a high-level abstract sense, this year in particular was the role of the mainstream media in crafting how the public was to react and interpret the things going on between what was or was not to be concerned about with coronavirus and what to pay attention to when it came to the election. Because on the one hand, it was not doing anything that could possibly interrogate Biden, entirely and totally vilifying Trump, of course, whether he deserved it or not, which has been a mainstay for the last 3.5 years. But also just this partisan nanny state role they've taken in policing who says what and the morality of mask wearing, or in one breath saying, look at how much China has flattened the curve, and in the other breath going like, China shouldn't necessarily be trusted about their statistics.
Right.
The back and forth partisan hypocrisy of the press. I mean, and of course I'm biased because I look at it every night. I read stories every night, and I get very, as anybody who watches the show knows, I get very like deep into the weeds on what they're saying and how they're saying it. What words they use and how they decide to phrase things. Like, there's been no widespread evidence of fraud. Well, okay, but does that mean there's been no fraud?
Right. They keep changing the narrative on that too. There's no widespread evidence. Well, there's no. no evidence that would change the election. Whoa, wait a minute. Does that mean there was evidence or not?
Right. Yeah. It's just this double talk, everybody trying to stay on quote unquote the right side. And also, I mean, and this has just been sort of the story for the last 4 years, this moral imperative that anything that comes from the Trump side of the equation is immediately evil, suspect, unprecedented. This is shocking. This is a controversy.
Or won't happen.
And, yeah, or won't happen. Yeah, the vaccine will never happen. It can't happen by the end of the year. It won't happen for at least 2 years. Oh, we're all going to die. The whole world's coming to an end. Oh, then it comes out and it's like, oh, we're not getting it fast enough.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So I guess if there's a big story, it's just the overall polarization and partisanship of the press on full display, more so than usual. Because I think with social media, with the clickbait structure of revenue these days, and honestly, I keep thinking, I said before the 2016 election, I said if Trump wins the White House, CNN will turn into Gawker. And I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong because because everybody from Gawker had to go somewhere, and that mentality of grabbing clicks and making clickbait headlines and doing shoddy work that ends up being just like blogs as newspaper articles.
Right.
It's really become the standard, and it's really it's distressing. It's infuriating sometimes, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm morbidly curious to know what is going to be the bottom. Mm-hmm. What is going to be the point at which an entity like CNN or MSNBC or Fox News finally just completely tosses aside any pretense and just says, we're a blogging site now. Our reporters aren't reporters. They're just opinion writers. They crank out some garbage and we put it forward as though it's some kind of investigative journalism. I mean, we've already gotten there in several places. I'm just wondering how long they're going to still be able to maintain that facade.
Agreed. And I just the other day, I'm reading on Twitter, Jake Tapper tweeting out part of his show is, The Lead or whatever. And on that show, they were interviewing George Conway. Okay. So, and the way they played it off is, this Republican is saying something bad about what's happening with the election fraud stuff, right? This is he's bad mouthing Josh Hawley. Oh, a Republican. Oh, well, wait a minute. We do know who George Conway is, right? George Conway is a anti-Trump or Lincoln Project, just totally anti-Trump person. But they don't say that when they introduce him. They say he's just George Conway, this Republican consultant. And it got me to thinking, now, whether or not you think there was enough election fraud to change the election, has CNN interviewed a single person who has been a witness in any of these election fraud hearings throughout the country? There have been in every state. There's been all these hearings. Has CNN interviewed a single witness, Jake Tapper in particular? Jake Tapper, have you interviewed a single witness to any of these things? Any of these expert witnesses, any of the people, the technicians, any of the people who say they witnessed people doing things that were wrong? No, because that's not part of their agenda.
Well, so, I mean, the greatest example of this year, I guess if there's one story that exemplifies where the media's at, if I had to distill it down to one, it's the Hunter Biden situation.
Yes.
For months and months and months and months, with the Ukraine stuff and all that, every time that Hunter Biden came up, there would be this phrase that seemed to be like boilerplate, had to be included in every story that any mainstream outlet put out there when covering anything dealing with Biden, Hunter Biden, or allegations of wrongdoing. There was always something that said, there is no evidence that the allegations hold any weight, or the allegations against Hunter Biden have no evidence, or something like that. There's always something that they had to put it in there just to make everybody know we don't have any evidence of this. And then, a month ago, a little less, it comes out that the FBI has been investigating Hunter Biden for 2 years. Oh, sorry.
I apologize. You can hear that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Those they're turned down. Those are my alerts for my for my super chats and Streamlabs. So
which
I'll do them. No, it's okay. I'll do them in a minute. I'll finish your thought.
All I was going to say is that
I should have warned you about that.
It's fine. For months they were saying there's no evidence of this, but the FBI had been investigating Hunter for the last 2 years. And as soon as it came out that the FBI has been investigating this for the last 2 years, that there is some weight to these allegations, that there's actually something worth it pursuing by the FBI and the Justice Department, all of the media outlets are caught flat-footed like, oh. Because even if like CNN didn't have the insight or the resources of the FBI or the Justice Department,
right,
there was nothing that they couldn't have done to investigate this on their own. But this is the problem. We go back to what Jeff Zucker said about 2 or 3 years ago now, when he said at CNN, we're journalists, not investigators. There is no effort. There's no effort. There's no apparent culture or requirement amongst what qualifies as journalism at CNN, at least, that necessitates them to actually look any deeper than what they're told. CNN, for all intents and purposes, is just a loudspeaker for whoever they like.
Right.
And then for those that they don't like, well, they won't do any investigating. They'll just rumor monger. I mean, all the stuff about we shouldn't spread around conspiracy theories this year when it comes to COVID and all this other stuff. Well, we spent 3.5 years talking about Russia that led us to zillions of dollars spent, time wasted, trying to pursue an impeachment that never came about as a result of the Mueller investigation. And then it was only something else different that they pursued after the fact to try to do impeachment, which didn't actually impeach anybody. And then like last night, we're told by some voting expert that anytime one party decides to deny the results of an election, it undermines our democracy. And he was talking about the voter fraud allegations now, seemingly for forgetting 2016 through today, with the Democratic side not accepting Trump's election. It's
right.
Just,
I just read a story yesterday because you realize 10 Democrats challenged the election results in the House of Representatives last year. It's like, were they undermining democracy? Even though they didn't get anyone from the Senate to join with them, but there were 10 Democrats who did that. Did you forget that?
Like I said last night, it's not one of those things where two wrongs make a right kind of thing. Because the Democrats did it, it's okay for the Republicans or something like that. It's just that it's the double standard, it's the hypocrisy. It's my biggest lament that I've come up with after doing the show for so long is I am more depressed by the fact that the fourth estate, the media that is supposed to hold truth to power, doesn't care anymore. It's all about clicks. It's all about just throwing out knee-jerk reaction opinions and quote-unquote analysis. I mean, these news sites have come up with so many different words for everything except news. Like headline stories now are just say analysis,
right,
or opinion, or what. It's just like, okay, so you're not actually relaying or distilling the facts of things to us. You're just some guy giving us your opinion. Commentary and reporting have no distinction anymore.
Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. I should have read this super chat when it came out. Thank you, Chicago Mike, with the donation through Streamlabs, or excuse me, through super chat. It says, "Happy New Year, everyone. I'm asking P-Dawg to interrupt Scribe." Hi, Scribe.
Well, it kind of happened when the super chat went off. So, Mike, you yourself kind of interrupted me with the music playing, and I had no idea what was going on. I was like, because like when I'm doing Sinatra streams or something, I can't hear their alert noises for stuff, so I have to like be quiet when they say be quiet. I don't hear anything, so I have that reflex. But thank you, Chicago.
Yeah, I set mine up so you could hear stuff. So I'm sure you could hear this bell.
Yes.
Or
Gotcha, bitch.
Or
you're a lying dog face pony soldier.
Yes, I set up everything through my microphone. So anyway, you know, it's funny too. So you were, when you said about CNN, when they say they're not an investigating organization, they're journalists.
Yes.
Now, my opinion, at least when I was a kid and I was deciding whether or not I was going to do journalism or music, which I ended up choosing music, I journalism was investigating things, researching things, looking for things, and it seems like, particularly at CNN, as more than some of the other networks, that CNN pretty much just their purpose is to read you what it says in the Washington Post, or read what it says in the New York Times, or read what it says from the AP, and then bitch about Donald Trump. That's been there for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And or bitch about anyone who supports Donald Trump. If you're Brian Stelter, it's like I've never seen a year where a news network spends half of their time talking about another news network.
Yeah.
As much as they used to talk about Fox. I mean, all of them. I mean, mostly Stelter, but Cuomo does it. Shaliza does it. They all do it. But yeah, again, and it's always analysis.
Yeah. Well, what I
perspective.
want and what I guess I end up. I was just thinking about it. But part of my original thrust behind my channel was asking the question: people who comport themselves to be in positions of authority, whether you're an educator or a politician or a business person or whatever else, listening to what they say and just asking yourself, does it make sense?
Right.
And what I do with now it's primarily the TEDx streams and things, but I go in blank into something, and somebody who says, I'm an expert on this, or I'm a PhD, or I'm a doctor, or I'm this, whatever. I'm standing up on a stage and I'm announcing that I'm an authority on something. And so I just ask the question, okay, show me, prove it to me. Let me hear your pitch. And then I'll ask questions about it. Not going in going like, I'm a true believer, right because you're saying the right things. Oh, the title sounds very nice. I'm just going to say nice things because I want to be nice.
Right.
No, you have to ask the question. If somebody says they're a doctor, you ask a doctor of what? If somebody says that I've got 15 years experience in this sector, you have to ask, okay, well, do you have 15 years experience, or do you have 1 year's experience 15 times? It's just thinking critically, and this is the other thing. Thinking critically has almost become vilified. Like, if you ask a question, if you show any doubt, it's now an insult. You saw like what Nancy Pelosi is up on the podium, and she's saying, oh, well, we're going to accept this $900 billion thing, and reporter asks, well, what was wrong with the 1.8 trillion one you said wasn't enough 3 months ago? I mean, that wasn't enough, and you're willing to accept the 900 billion. And she just blows it away. I mean, the same thing with Wolf Blitzer when she's talking to Wolf Blitzer. And I'm just harping on the Democrats. Anytime somebody in authority isn't willing or able to answer a reasonable question, or takes a question that is completely on base as some kind of personal insult or whatever else, or starts snapping back, that's not the point at which you stop asking questions. That's where you start asking more questions.
Right.
And there are some journalists out there that attempt to do that. They get drowned out or shunted out by the culture in some of these newspapers and organizations now that don't want to push that, don't want to anger the side of the aisle that they want to be friends with, don't have the right philosophy on how people are supposed to operate. It's very frustrating because you always hope that all us little people that don't have the kind of access that the press do, that there's somebody advocating for us outside of the political mainstream.
Right.
But the media has become, and I know maybe I'm just late waking up to this because I haven't paid attention to the media except for the last 3 years. But it seems more stark than ever to me that the media is just another branch of the political structure, and not actually independent of it at all.
They're on a team now, and they tried to hide. I mean, maybe it's just because I was young and I didn't know any better, but it almost seems like they tried to hide it a little bit. Now I mean, I can look back on, for example, Sam Donaldson in the White House press room talking to Reagan, okay? And Sam Donaldson asked very pointed, hard questions and whatnot, but it seemed like at least the reporting, they tried to answer questions for everybody. where it seems like now they just, you know what, we're on this team and we're going to ask these questions that we got from Media Matters, and that's it. You know, the Jim Acostas of the world, or the whoever that stupid former Playboy writer that works for CNN now. You know, our job now as a newscaster is to make your side look bad and to not rock the boat for our side.
Yeah. The other thing, and I just thought of this. There's this great movie, if you guys haven't seen it, it's called Good Night and Good Luck, and it's a dramatization of the Edward R. Murrow entanglement with Joe McCarthy back in the 50s. And there's this interesting part in the movie where Edward R. Murrow is having to go to the head of the network. I forget what his first name is, Paley. It's like CBS or whatever. And I can't recreate it to save my life, but basically it's relayed through that. And again, maybe this is apocryphal, I don't know, but it sounded legit to me. Paley said, you know, I run your stuff at a loss. Your shows don't make money, but I do it because I believe in the necessity of what you do. And and Edward R. Murrow is sort of like the gold standard of what a hard-boiled journalist should be, you know, an investigative reporter. And I was just thinking that, you know, media places can't operate like that anymore. And they certainly can't operate like that when there's so much money to be had in clicks.
Right.
What's driving media now is not integrity or curiosity or public service. It's profit, popularity, and who you're connected with and what connections you've got.
Right.
And instead of trying to dissuade people who have those goals in mind and trying to cultivate an institution that actually tries to act as a voice of the people or act as an advocate for the common person versus the power structure, they pander to it. They pander to it for access. They pander to it for clicks. They pander to it for exposure. And again, instead of trying to shy away the prima donnas and actually focus on the work, they want the prima donnas because they get the clicks, they get the views, they get the attention, and so on. And making journalists celebrities is a bad idea.
Well, and that, you know, a lot of them saw the success of Fox News. Because that's basically what Fox News started out as you've got your, you know, your 3 or 4 nightly opinion people out there talking about opinions. And for Fox News, there was nobody else talking about those opinions. There, you know, I mean, there were, but there weren't, not at least on any major broadcast. So it was, you know, it was like having 4 talk radio people come on TV. And because they had the success they had, I don't think the problem is, I don't think the other networks realized that they already had kind of a monopoly on how news was presented. So Fox News takes this little niche, which, yes, they're the most watched, you know, for a long time, they're the most watched news station. But as far as the total news audience, they're a very small percentage of it. But because they're always number one on the ratings, all these other networks were like, hey, wait a minute, we got to compete with this somehow. And so they all decided to go opinion all the time. And the thing about CNN, and like when headline news was out, you remember headline, well, it's still there, but you just got the news. You just got what was going on.
Instant gratification, little bite-sized bits of what's going on.
and you know, there was a lot more variety on that particular headline news station, and CNN kind of started out that way too. But then they said, "Oh no, we got to compete with Fox," and MSNBC comes out and had their success doing it from the other side, and CNN decides, "Oh well, we need to be popular now and not just be journalists."
Well, I also think back to some of the so CNN. I mean, the CNN's big sort of breakout moment was the Gulf War, and their coverage of it. They're having people right there watching it happen, from the hotel room and all that stuff. And it used to be that we're CNN. Here's the kind of news that we bring you.
Right.
Now it's we're CNN. Anderson Cooper, Cuomo, Wolf Blitzer. It's all personality based. It's just like Fox News used to be. I mean, Fox News was the upstart, and they changed the model of what becomes profitable news. And yeah, no, it's been this weird evolution to a network. I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore kind of mentality when it comes to whatever counts as news. And then the people actually try to do something investigative or whatever else. They end up being relegated to some independent website somewhere, and you never hear about it.
Yeah, they become a conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, the conspiracy theorists. And don't get me wrong, this is not me promoting like OAN and saying, they're the best news network on the planet or something. The most honest news I see these days is from that Rising show on the Hill.
Yes, I love that show. YouTube. I love that show, and they're not. They're sort of partisans. I mean, it's hard to tell, but because I know her politics, but they just investigate things and tell you a story and get deep into what it's about.
Yeah, she was on the Democratic side of politics. Sagar was a conservative Republican kind of thing.
Yeah,
but at the same time, they both admit neither of their quote unquote sides are perfect, and they're more than willing to point out the flaws because that's just the truth of it. And I mean, I don't agree with everything that they say, but that's fine. But it's really sad that I have to go to some side project of a publication that is by itself in its print publication very partisan,
very clickbait.
Very clickbait.
Very clickbait.
But yeah, I get more honesty and sort of critical thinking as far as news analysis from those two than I do from any other network or any other news site that I end up reading any particular day of the week. And man, I read a lot of them.
Yeah. No, and I'd rather, or Glenn Greenwald or James O'Keefe or these people who actually go out and try to find the nuts and bolts in the story. It's like, whatever you think of that kind of journalism, I'd rather hear from people who are going to actually actually analyze something and actually, what was the word that Zucker used? We're not investigators. I want investigators. Yeah. I mean, you would think if they were investigators, then they would be looking into the election fraud story. They would be looking into, even or bad things that Trump's kids might have done, but they love doing that. They can't find anything. I gotta tell you, by the way, my opinion right now on the Trump family, they've got to be the cleanest family on the planet as far as business goes, because they've had microscopes up their asses for ever since Donald Trump started running for president.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that I have to ask. Have they, though? Because for every time that I see the press not covering something like Hunter Biden and then being shown up by the FBI, who's been doing it for 2 years, every time that I hear that Trump or his family or whatever else is being analyzed to death, is the media really putting in as much work or more work into actually investigating Trump versus just repeating rumors and everything else? I don't have any notions that Donald Trump got to where he is in life because he's a nice guy.
No.
And I don't have any.
No, he's a jackass. He's a complete jackass. I've always said that.
Yeah, there's no chance that your hands are clean. Politics in general, nobody's hands are clean.
Right.
No one in his family is inherently a saint. Now, have they done anything that's going to be? But I mean, to a certain extent, you're right in that the investigation into Russian collusion and everything else, a whole bunch of things bad were found, but they were mostly things done by other people in years past.
Right.
So as far as the family being clean, I guess it depends on what you mean by clean.
Well, I just mean
I'm not excited for Donald Trump Jr. to run for president in 5 years or anything. So yeah, but I
just mean all the investigations, not just the media, but between the all the government agencies that have investigated him, and the IRS has been auditing him for the last 10 years and or whatever, how long they've been auditing him, and the state of New York is trying to get to him, and it's like every time they go up against him, it blows up in their face, and so in some way.
Well,
so that's kind of what I mean.
Embarrass a clown. That's the thing, is that Trump has been an entertainer for so long.
True.
His scandals, his outlandishness, and everything else has been part of his character. So trying to say, "Oh, look at that guy, he's a clown," like, yeah, that's part of his brand.
Right. And I got to remind people when I say Trump's a jackass, I don't see that as a pug. I see it as a bit of a feature. I don't, I'm fine with him being a jackass as far as what he gets done when he gets done.
This is also the surprising thing. It's like throughout these entire 4 years, the media's been acting as though they had absolutely no idea what kind of person Trump was before he entered office. Like Trump isn't behaving like any president before. Like, he's never been a politician.
Right.
This is his first serving a public office, which is in and of itself kind of incredible if you think about it.
Yeah.
Never having served in any public elected position before, and the first one he ends up in is president of the United States. Why do you guys keep expecting him to act, quote unquote, normally? Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't give him a pass on how he behaves as president, but at the same time, it shouldn't be shocking to anybody that he's not acting like some polished politician.
Right.
But yeah, no. As far as the Trump family is concerned, they have a brand. Everybody's sort of accepting of the fact that the name Trump has a sort of dinginess to it, along with the brass shine.
Right.
And so, as far as being shocked by anything that they do, if they've done anything like wholly illegal, or I mean, of course, it always comes down to: is it simply unethical or is it illegal? Because being unethical does not necessarily mean you've done something that's a crime.
Correct.
And I think the assumption that there's unethical behavior in the Trump family is just part and parcel with the family name at this point, mostly due to Donald Trump's behavior over the last 40 years. So,
right.
Yeah. So anyway, that like I say, that's to be expected. But yeah, as far as like being shown whether or not the family has any more skeletons to be revealed, even if they did, short of murder, I don't think anybody's going to be shocked or care at this point, because we've been so oversaturated with how terrible Trump is, both for things he actually has done and most of the time for things he hasn't.
Yeah.
It's basically built a suit of armor around him of apathy, I think, unless you're like a never Trumper who just can't ever, you were never going to accept him in the first place.
Right. Well, I started out that way, but then he grew on me. In some ways, at least as far as, I just never thought he was ever going to do anything he said he was going to do. And he surprised me in that sense, where he actually went out and tried to do the things he said he was going to do. Whether he was successful in them or not, he at least did what he was said he was going to do. So let me do this real quick. I got to say hi to some people I haven't said hi to yet. Good morning, Fox P2. Nice to see you. Wikipedia Snicket. Jim, good morning. Hate Camel, one of the top first two viewers of the Morning Night Live. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Willett Forge. Let's see who else I missed. Lord Stanhope, Uncle Bobbity, how you doing? Rittenhouse Unit, and Tyler F. Avocados Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. I said Rittenhouse Unit. I think Ebony Williams. Hello, my friend. Nice to see you here. And I think I've got caught up here. Spambot 22. Am I caught up yet? Kind of am, yeah, sort of. Oh, the One Who, formerly the One Who Tubes, now the One Who, and I think that's everybody. Bim Jim, I caught Kyra Alexander. Good morning, sir. How you doing? All right, I think that's everybody. People's Front of Canada. All right, I got caught up. That's close enough. I'll catch up more. Atheist Icon just got here also. All right, that's good.
Yeah, I always spend my first moments of my TEDx saying hi to as many people as I can.
Right.
And it just is completely a tangential thing. Both for your 500 episodes and the new year and everything else. Everybody here, whether you're a viewer of mine or not, whatever, thank you for your support to those people that you like online. It is very important these days, especially with all the YouTube shenanigans, especially with the nonsense that is the mainstream whatever these days, that people who, like normal people, who actually state, this is me saying my opinion. I'm not trying to tell you that this is the way the world works, and being honest with you about it as much as that is possible. it's important for your support for people like PDawg and myself and anybody else, any other content creator you like, whether they're a commentator on the news of the day or somebody that makes cute cat videos. If you like a content creator out there, let people know and also show them your support. Send a comment, let them know on Twitter that you're watching their stuff. A lot of times people just kind of watch a video, enjoy it or otherwise, and then move on. Hitting that like button, leaving a comment, and especially letting other people know that you like their stuff is vital, because no one else is telling. I mean, some of us out there in YouTube land have marketing experience or know how to really hit the street ground running and everything and get their name out there and work really hard, and all credit to them. Some of us have jobs and families and other things that we just can't make this all of our primary stuff. Exactly. And so when you guys take the extra step of just retweeting or liking or whatever else, it means the world, and it really does. And so thank you guys for both for now and in the past, all your support and going forward. It really, really does help.
And by the way, good morning, Cynical Lindsay, too. I know you're not chopped liver. By the way, if you're not familiar with Scribe Light, Ranting Monkey, and Satsu 2 Cents do a show called The Lords of the Night. I flanked out, almost said my show. The Lords of the Night, Monday through Saturday. It's, let's see, it's 8 o'clock my time. So 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific, from the left coast. And you mountain people, you just figure it out. Because your whole map there with Arizona kind of mucking things up always makes me confused.
Yeah. And we'll be on my channel tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the first Lords of the Night of 2021.
Fantastic.
I don't know if that means anything in particular, but there you go. And if you like watching people on stages get critiqued and torn down, I have a ongoing series called TED Excellence, where I do just that live occasionally. And it's one of my New Year's resolutions to, after a year of lockdown and this stuff, I really want to get back to scripted content more so than I have done the live stream. I mean, I love the live stream stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's fun, but I feel like I've left behind part of what my channel was kind of built on with all the craziness of this last year. So I'm going to attempt to set a certain schedule for TED Excellences, like a day or two out of the week where I will do those. And the rest of the time, hopefully I'll be working on getting some regular old scripted stuff out there. So that's my intention.
That's me too. My channel has from the beginning been very sporadic. And until I started doing this regular Monday through Friday stream, there was a lot of time in between the scripted videos, but I really, really want to get back into doing some of that. I think that's some of the things that, especially me, my channel has been a very slow, organic growth. Just from people catching it here and there, and being on every once in a while, guesting on other shows, and you go, oh, okay, I'll check it out. And so, but I think the scripted content, if you can get a regular, 1 or 2 a week even out in that helps grow your channel, because then it's a 10-minute bite or 10, 12, 15-minute bite that people can take and go, oh yeah, this guy's interesting. So that's one of my goals for especially 2021.
Yeah, my biggest hurdle right now is trying to think of, because one of the things that I keep coming up against is sort of like rhetorical burnout. And what I mean by that is, I look back at the playlists I've made and all the other scripted content I've done. I look at the subject matter I've covered, and I just think to myself, do I have anything new to say about any of this stuff?
Right.
Because, and I think that's something that a lot of commentator YouTubers over the years have run up against as well, is sort of like, you hear the same things over and over and over again. And the thing that I try really hard to remind myself is, yes, but every time it's somebody new and it's somebody current. It's not like these old ideas are going away because they've been defeated by logic, reason, and interrogation. It's just coming out again and again and again. The most recent example that scares the hell out of me is you got 3 educators from 3 different independent schools sitting there telling me the benefits of racially segregated affinity groups in classrooms. And I'm just like, and they're all there smiling like this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, do you have any idea what you are saying? Of course, either you do and you don't care, or you don't and you think you just rediscovered the wheel or something. Like, what? And so when I see stuff like that, I just go, you gotta be kidding me. And this isn't being thrown away like, oh, and it was the second time in a week that I'd heard that phrase, affinity groups, like so I've got 4 different people from 4 different walks of life, from 4 different institutions, telling me that the most advantageous thing you can do when trying to, I don't know, resolve something or whatever else is split your population down by race and put them in individual groups to work out the problem. Like,
Right.
what is going on? So I keep telling myself, it's like the bad ideas never seem to die. And the only way to try to, I don't know, you can't get rid of bad ideas necessarily, but all you can do is sort of challenge them, is to keep plugging away at it. And it's wearing after a while. It's mentally wearing to hear people promote to you the most regressive stuff, the most counterintuitive things, as though it's something beneficial. You're doing a good thing by assessing people on things that have nothing to do with merit. You're doing a good thing by putting quotas out there and saying that this is necessary for us to do business with you or something. And like, I don't know. It's sometimes it feels like, you're trying to push up against a tidal wave coming in with your bare hands.
Well, and look, as far as material for the kinds of things that you do, by the way, good morning, Johnny Hellcat, Spidey Man, Rusty Shaq.
Hi, guys.
So I have this Twitter thread that I was looking at, and it was, it's 2020's Year of End thread by Orwell and Good. Trying to pick some of the most clownish stories this year had to offer. And I don't want to go through all 50, but you have to see this because it's hilarious. I'm going to share my screen with you real quick.
Sure.
And so here's let's see. I'm going to switch my StreamYards here so people in the chat can see it too. Here's one. Groom with gender fluid fiance didn't know if he'd marry man or woman on big day. Chris was deciding right up until the day of his wedding to partner Douglas Davidson who would walk down the aisle, Chris or Fiona. Oh, yes. So that would be, I'm sure there's an expert out there, Scribe, that would be able to help talk about that subject, but let's move on. Here's one. Police were wrong to check my thinking. Businessman's transphobic tweets were lawful, and officers breached his rights by acting like the Stasi and arriving at his work to quiz him about hate incident. Judge rules.
Well, that's kind of comforting, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's in the UK, I'm pretty sure. But they came to his business because to inquire about his transphobic tweets. Here's one. Let white people die. Professor triples down. Whiteness is a mental and physical terrorism. I hear a lot of people talking about white privilege these days, and being one of not the what is a good term for this, melanin, being not one of the melanin deficient ones. I feel like every time I read a headline like this, it makes me feel as though I'm doing okay. because you see so many headlines. Well, now granted, this is College Fix, who's probably exaggerating their side of their version of things, but it's like, it seems like there's a constant beat down on white people in media headlines, just constant. And I'm like,
there's no consequence.
What are you doing to kids that see this shit? It's like, I'm not a fan of white guilt. Stop, please. I don't need y'all's help.
There's no societal consequence to it. You can be racist and sexist as long as it's racist and sexist towards the right people.
Right. Which
is if you just take that statement by itself and don't think about what specifically race or sex I'm talking about, well, then you could be thinking we're back in the dark old days of the 1920s,
right,
where it's like women and minorities. Except it's always that, you know, find and replace in your own mind kind of thing. Switch around the race and sex. Switch around the race in your mind with any particular statement. Does it make sense to you? Does it seem right to you in the reverse? Because if it doesn't seem right to you in the reverse, it's not right in the current, because the whole idea is bad. The whole idea is stupid, but that doesn't seem to click with most people these days. It's very bizarre.
Yeah. Hawaiian shirts have become an unlikely symbol of white supremacy.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, because it's cultural appropriation. Everybody thinks they have the right to do it, and it's colonization. And I'm just guessing. I haven't seen it. I'm just guessing what the article says.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not. Just the headlines alone are amazing. Stepmom justifies exposing breasts to kids because she's a feminist, gets charged with a sex crime. Well, whose kids? Her kids or somebody else's kids? That's just weird.
Yeah.
Feminist. How Britain's colonial past could be traced through transphobic feminism of today.
Man, I tell you what, if there's one thing that never stops being a cash cow, it's taking something from a million years ago and saying somehow it's relevant today.
Yes.
Like the, what was it? There was this law from like 1907 or something, like the Immigration or Alien Sedition or something like that. I keep hearing brought up on videos sometimes, and they'll be like, this has been pervasive in America forever. Like, yeah, except we got rid of that law and we've changed it 17 times over since then. They never seem to want to acknowledge the fact that things have changed. It's not like, oh, the bad things happened, nothing happened in between, and here we are.
Right.
Like,
no,
what?
it's no, and that's, you know, that's the statues thing. It's like,
yeah,
you know, yes. Are these perfect people? No. But did they do something significant that we can celebrate them for? Yes. Even, dare I say it, Robert E. Lee, who was a military hero before the Civil War for the United States of America. And, he was a reluctant Confederate, but he did, because whatever. Anyway, how about this? Why were there no women in the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan?
I can't imagine why. Historical accuracy gives a rip.
Oh yes, I'm watching. There's some historic kind of a British show. I can't remember what it's called, that my wife and I are watching the other night, and they're just people of color everywhere. And I use that term just in almost a joking manner. Hi, Jess. Hey, Jess, how you doing? Good morning. That's I don't want to jinx it, but I always say my future son-in-law. Also, good morning, Mr. No, and Robert Lapine. Happy New Year, everybody. By the way, everyone, Happy New Year. And this is actually a call-in show if you want to jump in. I know I'm going to keep Scribe here as long as he'd like to be, but you certainly are welcome to click the link in the description down below, or it pops up in the chat if you want to join us for a minute or two and tell us about something significant that you'd like to talk about in 2020 and your predictions for 2021. That's kind of the theme today. But Scribe and I are going to sit here and keep talking, so that's a good thing.
Dog, I apologize. I'm getting a phone call I got to take.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Well, Scribe, thank you so much again. Check out Lords of the Night. Check out Scribe's channel, and thank you for being here, my man.
Thanks for having me on. I hope everybody has a good Happy New Year, and I'll see you tonight on Lords of the Night. Bye,
all right,
guys.
Man. Happy New Year.
Take care.
All right, bye, brother. All right. All right, let's go back to here real quick. All right, real quick, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Let's see, who's saying, is the streaming boomer of 2021, Happy New Year.
That's right.
Hopefully this will be the year to repeal the 19th because these liberal hoes just shouldn't be voting.
That's right.
Okay. Yes, it is the year of repealing the 19th. Also, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite. Nice to see you. Also, let's see. Someone else just popped in. No, I got it. They said good morning to Jess. I said good morning to Mr. No, someday Dr. No. And, oh, you're a ridiculous lunatic. Hello. Nice to see you. All right. Figured I would check in on the Big 500 while on break at work. Oh, well, cool, Jess. Nice to have your voice in the chat. And again, thank you, Scribe Light. By the way, good morning. Hey, Larry. Also, again, this is a call-in show. If you'd like to jump in and tell us something significant about 2020 that you either like to remember or forget, and a prediction for 2021. The link is in the description, and it shows up in the chat every once in a while. I'm sure it's in there. I don't know where it is. You might have to scroll a little bit, but it's the call-in show thing. All right, let's keep doing some of these headlines though, because these crack me up. Let me fix this real quick, and we'll get back to some of the headlines. This is a great thread from Orwell and Good. It's just been cracking me up. And we'll stop sharing that on StreamYards. Okay, we got that. All right, now, so more of these great headlines from the current year. Senior council figures lobbied for convicted pedophile to be allowed to foster inquiry here. Senior figures at Lambeth Council lobbied for a convicted pedophile to be allowed to foster children in an angry showdown in a neighborhood local authority has heard. I just don't understand. Jonathan Peterson just got here watching from the beginning. Thank you so much. Nice to have you here. And also, good morning, Gamer Valine. Good to see you this bright, happy morning. I know it's pretty early for you, but we are having Bloody Marys. Well, mine's a Virgin Mary, but I do have to. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I need to heat up my other drink here, my cough syrup. Well, tell you what, we're going to get back into these headlines in a second. I'm going to take a short break. I will be right back. Please bear with me. Give me about 2 minutes. I'll see you in a second. Bye. And good morning, Jesse Leon. I'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it, you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show.
All right, and I'm back. Thank you so much for your patience there while I went and heated up my other drink. And I had to pee, so just to be honest. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat with the Jackson. And Johnny Hellcat,
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
thank you so much, Johnny, the very first viewer of the Morning Night Live, throwing a Jackson in the pot through Streamlabs. It says, happy 500th episode. Glad you're healthy to make it to this milestone. Here's to 500 more. Well, thank you, sir. I will toast to that. Everyone pick up your glass. I'm going to finish off the... Finish up the Bloody Mary and go back to the cough syrup in the Salt Lake City, Utah cup. Anyway, thank you so much. And looks like I have a guest coming in, so here we go. Good morning, Bim Jim.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. There's a little noise in the background, but that's okay. I don't know what that noise is, but that's okay. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm fabulous as usual.
Fantastic. So,
Yeah.
So first question I have for you before I even let you get into it. Also, good morning to Ryan himself. Nice to see you. Bim Jim, what did you do last night?
I watched my computer
Okay.
on my big TV, and I didn't go out at all. I didn't really even think about it. And the odd thing was last night at 12 midnight, there were no fireworks. I did not hear any fireworks. Normally, in past years, I've always heard fireworks on New Year's Eve. And also on Halloween, I hear fireworks. If I don't go out to the party, I hear the fireworks. So, yeah, it was quiet. Well, my area is ultra quiet. I mean, we have no protests, no fighting, no arguments. It's Canada. I'm in Canada. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I apologize. I'm British. I'm in British Columbia, Canada. I don't want to fool anybody, but yeah, it is so quiet over here. I mean, I don't know anybody who's had COVID. It's just no protest. I mean,
there you go.
Canadians are in a coma. In a coma, my friend. I have to say that.
Well,
The vast majority of them are just walking around looking at their toes, and they're in a coma. And I try to talk to people, and oh my goodness, there's nothing there, man. I'm sorry. But no, I wanted to call you
Okay.
about your conversation with that guy, and you were missing the head of the snake, in my opinion.
Okay.
The head of the snake.
Even with
is in the
Scribe,
universe.
that was just on earlier?
Pardon me?
With Scribe, who was on earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Missing the head of the snake.
First ever heard of him.
Okay.
Yeah, in your long conversation with that guy, Scribe Light, you were missing the head of the snake.
Okay.
It's the same here in Canada, in all Western countries, the same snake. It's the head of the snake is in the universities. It's the Marxist professors, right? In my opinion. And I was writing words to that effect in the comments as you were going along there. I was trying to draw people's attention to the Marxist professors in the universities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've spent a lot of time in universities, not because I have a lot of degrees or anything. I have just engineering degrees, but I had an engineering career going, and then I became disabled. I went back to university to upgrade and wound up hanging around in the university library for 15 years or so and taking courses and just using their resources to do research and rubbing elbows with the academia.
Right.
So I had lots of conversations with professors, and I audited philosophy lectures and things like that, and entered into debates in Philosophy Cafe. And that's what I've been doing for a long time because I became disabled and I couldn't really. I wasn't interested in working anymore.
Yeah.
I got a disability pension, and I apologize for this, but I direct my own efforts.
Okay.
I could say it that way, and I actually did do a lot of work during that time. I did environmental engineering for quite a few years. I worked very hard at it. Anyways, enough about me. But this is why I know this. I know the head of the snake is in the universities. It's these Marxist professors, and they practice certain things like critical theory.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to put that in quotation marks, critical theory, because people mix it up with critical analysis or critical thought or something like that. No, critical theory is a very special thing, and I had to audit a bunch of lectures on that to figure out what it is. And they teach this. The Marxists teach critical theory.
Based on there's always a oppressor and the oppressed.
Well,
basically that's in a nutshell, if you want to call it that.
That too. That is also that. But critical theory is very simple, really. It's just saying all the bad things about something. Even if you're selling, okay, let's say you go to buy a used car.
Mm-hmm.
And you meet the owner, and he says his car is really great and wonderful and all this stuff. And you say, oh, well, no, it's not. You say all the bad things about the car that you want to buy. Okay, that's the game. That's critical theory. You say all the bad things. You say, well, look at the tires are worn out. And this light here is cracked, and the steering wheel is worn out or something, and you just say all the bad things about the car. It's that is really what critical theory is. It's that simple, really, and it's invented by Marxism to brainwash the population and so on. And I first encountered it in real life here quite a long time ago. I remember I was reading a magazine article, and it said Canada has no culture. Period. And this was written by some academic in some magazine, right, for academics, right? And I'm reading this article. It says Canada has no culture, and when I first read those words, I thought, well, that's not true. I've lived in other countries. I've been around the world. I know Canada has a culture. We got a culture. You can like it or not, I don't care, but we do have a culture here with our plaid shirts and our beer and our moose and all this stuff. And yeah, we got a culture. Well, I love to make fun of it. It's hilarious. Our Canadian culture is funny as hell. And but the point is that this academic article just said everything bad about Canada you could imagine, including that Canada has no culture, which is simply not true.
Sure.
It's just not true. And that was pure critical theory, and that's when I first encountered it and became aware of it. And I was thinking, what are these academics doing? Why would they say such a silly thing that simply isn't true? But they keep repeating it over and over again, and that's the Marxist method of brainwashing the masses. I mean, my older brother became a Marxist back in the 1960s, and then I got into college, and one of my classmates was a Marxist because she said so. Yeah. So from that time, I was in and out of the left, and I went into my brother's Marxist cell of Marxists. I went in there. I read their newspapers and one of their books, anyway, a couple of their books. And I found out that they were a bunch of dopes, and I wasn't going to join that gang. I mean, they were the Antifa of that time.
Okay.
And they're full of garbage, in my opinion. So I separated from them, but then I wound up getting back into the left for various other reasons along the way. But man, I tell you, I even did research for the leftist NDP party here in Canada. This is the leftist party. We have at least three parties. Well, we have more than three parties here in Canada, but the NDP is the old leftist Marxist party from way back. And I got inside that party doing research for them, but I couldn't achieve anything because they're grossly incompetent people, in my opinion. But I'm sorry for insulting people here. But yeah, the head of the snake is in the universities, in my opinion, and it is these Marxist professors, and their methods are known to me. I've been studying it. I'm 71. I've been studying it all for a very long time, man. I mean,
the thing is, though, I was in college in the 80s, okay? And those professors always seemed to be there. I went from being a music major to a communications major, and speech writing, things like that. And so I like half of the professors I had in my major were always assigning these super left-wing texts, as far as that were, that had, I have no idea what they had to do with my major, but and so it was always there. But I gotta say though, I have two kids who have gone through college recently, and even though in both of those universities there's a lot of left-wing professors, Marxist professors, whatever, I think both of them came out with at least a little more critical, and I'm not talking about like critical theory, but critical thinking skills as far as how they see the world. I don't think I'm fortunate that neither of my kids were, brainwashed into a completely, we should be a communist society. So at least in those two cases, and I look at my kids' friends and the people they associate with, and I just don't see it as much. So I guess maybe, even though that's there, at least some, I would say a majority come out still living the values that they grew up with in some sort. I see a few kids who are completely out there, that that they learned something in college and they think that is what it is, right? So yeah. I don't know. Anyway, let me give you my two questions that I want everyone to answer when we come into the show today. And then, by the way, if you just got here or if you've been watching, in the description down below, there's a link to join the show. It's a call-in show today, so if you want to do that, you can do that. It also shows up in the chat. My question of the day for people who come in today, though, is one significant story that makes you think of 2020, and then predictions for 2021.
Okay, the 2020 is represented by the pussy hat, and 2021, ooh, man, I could say something real dark. Okay, but I won't. I'll say water cannons. Is that did I get your question correctly?
Okay, I kind of get where you went there. That there's going to be more uprising type of stuff and water cannons and shit. Okay, I gotcha. All right.
That's my guess, and that's the dark view. I realize that, but remember that the military, the DoD, is still refusing to brief Biden. They're refusing him briefings right now. They still are. They won't brief him. And also remember that in the steel, soldiers' votes were thrown in ditches, and I'll bet the military knows more about that than they're letting on.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about that, because I know there was that one county where they counted the military votes, and they said that they were all for Biden. Was that in Atlanta or something? And I just had to think, now, wait a minute. That doesn't even, all. If it was some, sure. All? Are you kidding me? Anyway. All right, man.
Well, the military votes came in as mail-in ballots. That's right. How they arrived.
Right.
And they were, and the manipulators and thieves could manipulate the mail-in ballots. And they manipulated the military ballots. I think so. I think that's what happened. That's my interpretation of it all. But I think the soldiers are pretty unhappy about this. Okay, I'm finished.
Right. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. And you've been a great support of the show. I really appreciate you jumping in today.
Yeah, thanks very much.
All right, man. All right, take it easy.
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's go back to some of these headlines while I'm waiting to see if anyone else wants to jump in, because I think these are pretty funny. From the Orwell and Good thread. By the way, just a programming note today, I don't have any limits, so I might go a little longer than normal. Tell your friends, by the way, before I even go on, if you're enjoying the stream today, please hit that thumbs up button. Looks like most of you have already done that. That's fantastic. Also, share the stream out. I'm going to be on for a while, so if you, I realized when I started this morning, I had put the wrong time on the stream today, so I don't know if the notifications went out or not. So when we started, I suppose they did. But hit the share arrow. Oh, I should probably switch this. Let's fix this. There, it's back to me. There you go. By the way, Happy New Year again. If you're just getting here, Happy New Year. Also, welcome to the 500th episode of the Morning Night Live. If you would be so kind, hit the like button, share the stream, that little share arrow down there. Or if you're on a mobile, I think it's up there somewhere. Hit the share arrow and share this out. We're going to go for we're going to go for a longer time. I don't know exactly how long. It is also today a call-in show. If you'd like to jump in and be on the show, answer my main questions today, something significant that you want to remember about 2020, and something that you predict for 2021. That's the questions of the day, or whatever you want to talk about. I am very, very flexible. All right, let's go back to some of these significant oh my gosh, I can't even say it, headlines from the year 2020, and indicative of how things are in the world. I forgot to mention Jordan Peterson. His lectures are available on YouTube. Yeah, check out Jordan Peterson. I like Jordan Peterson. I think he's been maligned by many on the left just because of one specific topic. But in general, I think he is one who gives good advice. Even though he recognized his own issues and did something about it. So it is what it is. I think he's a good man. All right, back to some of these great headlines, and you're just gonna the cringe headlines of 2020. Here's number 10 of 50. Doctors are posting naked pics online to protest PPE shortages in Germany. A doctor who posted nude photos of himself in March 2020. Himself, is that a him? That does not look. Is that? Well, I don't even know. I can't. So they're protesting PPE shortages by being naked. Okay. Good morning, Jay Wolf. Thank you. Happy New Year to you, and thank you for the congratulations on the 500 show. Yeah, the 500 episodes, man. When I started this, I didn't know that I would be doing this long, and it's only been about just under 2 years now. But it's been fun. It's been fun doing this. All right. Let's see. Another one here. Here's a good one. Did you know the Nazis were obsessed with health guidelines? Oh, now I wonder, I'm curious what kind of a publication this would have come from. Something that's critical of the COVID authoritarians, or the not critical of the COVID authoritarians? I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's see. T.I. slammed for calling time spent with his daughters thought prevention hours. You know what? So I know you probably heard the stories of T.I. T.I.'s a celebrity rapper, very wealthy. He made a lot of money off about 3 songs, and he's become a real estate investor in the city of Atlanta. He owns a lot of real estate. Between him and Killer Mike, they've become businessmen. But he's still a bit of celebrity too. And remember the story about T.I. going with his daughter to her gynecological, whatever you say it, gynecological, whatever, exams, and they were just making sure that her, having the doctor ensure that her hymen was intact. Now I have, and then spending time with his daughters as thought prevention hours. You know what? In some ways, I would say spending time with the kids. Yeah, Avocados Diabli, spending time with his kids to keep them on the straight and narrow. What a monster. Good point there, Avocados Diabli. I gotta say, T.I. is a big fucking idiot. He is in some ways, yes. I just say, you know what? Spending time with your kids is to be part of their lives and make sure that things happen for them that are positive. I mean, yeah, he's saying thought prevention hours. Maybe he just is, in some ways, caring about his kids and wanting them to be successful in life. And if he jokes calling it thought prevention hours, I don't really care, but it is kind of funny to me. I don't know. He just tried to be a good dad. I don't know. All right, moving on. By easing its bar exam scores, will California produce more Black and Latino lawyers? Okay, let's examine this from the perspective of a Black man like myself. Now, let me remind you, I do not represent all Black people, and nor will I ever try, because Black people are not a monolith. But here is a case where the do-gooders, the enlightened ones, insult the F out of Black people and Latino people, I guess, by having what's that? Something of low expectations. At the soft bigotry, yes, the soft bigotry of low expectations. Rather than lowering standards, how about trying to find ways to have people raise their abilities or learn how to raise their abilities? But because look, if I want lower quality lawyers, how is that going to help anybody? I'm sorry. It was one of those things, when I went to college, okay, I went to a pretty nice university, Drake University, a nice school in the Midwest in Iowa, right? And there's not a whole lot of Black people there was a good number of Black people there, but it's like, but you got into Drake because you were smart enough to get into Drake. Okay, they didn't lower any score for me or anything. In fact, a lot of people, I got accepted to some even better schools than Drake. But I liked Drake. I liked the proximity to my parents, and I went to Drake. And you get there, and if you go to Drake and someone's like, "Oh, well, did you get on to Drake on a minority scholarship?" No, I didn't. No, my ACT score was probably higher than yours, and then I discovered it was way higher than theirs. But I don't want expectations lowered for anything. Okay, I don't want to have. I want to help people become better, and you don't help people become better by making it easier. My grandmother was an English teacher, And in the Omaha public schools, and then she did some work at Creighton University in the summer. She did taught some classes there. And my grandmother, a black woman, English teacher, she did not lower expectations, and she was in an area with most the school that was a high minority population, probably a majority minority population. And I've talked to some of her students from back when she was teaching, and she was teaching in the 60s and 70s. And I've met some of her students, especially I met some when my grandmother died, in the early 90s. And almost to a T, her students would say that the ones I met were some of her more successful students, and they almost to us, down to every person, they would say, she was one of the toughest teachers we had because she did not accept us not doing our best. And I can do nothing but thank her for that, because it helped me so much as I went on further in life. So rather than trying to make it easier for people, and I see this in the education system, where they say, well, we're not going to hold kids back. We're not going to give lower grades. We're going to stop using these grading systems that make kids feel bad. No, kids, if you have expectations, they will do their best to live up to them. And if they don't, then sorry, that's not your fault. It has to do with parenting. It has to do with, the society around them. But in my grandmother's classes, the culture of her class, she demanded from day one in her classes was, you need to be excellent. You need to be your very best to get through this class, and I'm not going to accept anything less. And her students, who were a majority African American, black, or whatever you want to call us, and in the end appreciated that, because they remembered her as someone who actually cared enough to make them be better. Demand that they be better. Demand that they speak in, learn to speak in a way that'll make them successful outside of that classroom or that neighborhood. That was one of the things growing up. I was, I didn't grow up. My parents moved out of what would be called the hood when I was 5 years old, just a year after I was adopted. So I really didn't grow up in the hood at all. I grew up, mostly in a mostly white neighborhood, although there were about 9 other black families in our neighborhood. But I went to church in the hood, and I went to my piano lessons in the hood, and our veterinarian was a black man, and our doctor was a black man. So the people I encountered at church, the kids I encountered at church, were a lot more, from those areas. When I would come and even attempt to talk slang around my grandmother would say, "Don't talk that way. Your grandmother's an English teacher. You better speak good English." And I'm like, okay, all right, that's what I learned. But those expectations did, even for my grandmother and my parents, demanding that I always do my very best in school. I was a smart kid, and they demanded that I be smart. Help me in the long run. So I don't know, easing bar exams is just crazy. Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to help people waiting. All right, let me, we'll come back to the headlines in between guests. Like I said, my programming today, I am going to be on longer than normal. Let me add Johnny Hellcat to the stream. Good morning, sir. Johnny Hellcat, the very first guest ever, viewer of the Morning Night Live. How you doing, my friend?
Not too bad. How's things going on your end?
Very good. I had a very mellow New Year's. You got here late. I spent part of New Year's Eve. My wife went and bought some. I bought some crab legs, and we went over to my mother-in-law and ate crab legs and watched some of the CNN shit show, New Year's Eve show. But it was pretty good. Did you do anything fun last night?
For the most part, yeah. My kids came over. We just spent some time together.
Oh, that's excellent. That's if you can't be out carousing, it's good to be with family, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't get to spend a lot of time because I work 2 jobs, so
right.
They spend most of the time with their mother. So
okay. Oh, by the way, let me stop. I just realized, Bearcock, thank you so much for the super chat or the Streamlabs donation. Who says, "Sorry for interrupting. Who's the well-spoken gentleman you're entertaining?" Was 19 minutes ago. That must have been Bim Jim. That was Bim Jim. So, and again, thank you, Bim Jim, for jumping in the show. So, Johnny, let me ask you this. So, I said my theme today was 2 things. One significant story or thing that happened in 2020 that you want to talk about, mention, and then predictions for 2021. Just one prediction for 2021.
It's not really a story, but I've had it up to here with the dancing nurses. It's and I'll share the same sentiment that Monkey has. Is I understand your job is rough, but like, good Lord, just tone it down.
It's a weird, kind of a weird dichotomy when it comes to the TikTok nurses, because on one hand, you have the Bollywood line dance TikTok videos, and then on the other hand, you have the certain nurses out there who are trying to shame people or come up with stupid analogies like Skittles and shit like that, telling you how awful you are because you have an opinion about something. Which of those, if you were going to pick just those 2 different takes, which one drives you more crazy?
I could push them both out the helicopter. I gotta say the worst one though is the with the lady who's with the Skittles.
Yeah.
How much holier than thou do you need to get? Then you need to do better.
Right. The thing I hated about that analogy, because it was a kind of dumb analogy, because Skittles is just a candy that's not essential. You don't have to have Skittles to live. You don't, so when someone says you have a bag of Skittles and some are this and some are this and some will kill you, well, I don't need Skittles to live. I don't need Skittles is just some candy. If you were talking about whether or not you could eat food, okay, you have a choice. You can either eat here's food, just in general, food, the entire grocery store. And if you eat this food, there's nothing going to happen to you. This food might make you sick. This food will kill you. But you have to eat to live. You cannot choose to eat or not. If you don't eat, you will die. So you're going to have to make some choices already. But with Skittles, that's just candy. Nobody cares. It's not like, people have to be able to find ways to sustain themselves in life. And in our society, you have to either produce something or create something or just go hunting or whatever. You have to find a way to live. And so that there is no choice. And so her analogy just fell flat with me.
And even still, of all, just taking the numbers into consideration, of all the numbers of the cases eating just a room full of Skittles, and you walk in and you are offered however many, I don't remember the numbers that she posted, but of all those, X percentage gives you, makes you sick, Y percentage will kill you. And will you still eat them? It's like, yeah, I would, because I can.
Yeah.
So, like, chances are, if you take one Skittle, you're gonna be fine.
The odds are in your favor.
Yeah.
And if you have to eat that Skittle to live, let's say if you had to eat a Skittle to live, you're gonna have to choose something, right? I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, all right. Let me ask you this: one prediction for 2021.
The cringe is only gonna get worse. Someone is gonna find something, and it's just gonna get exponentially worse.
Well, when I read these headlines that this guy put together, I think you're kind of correct. You know, I'm seeing you see new stuff every day that people have their kind of whacked out theories and things. I don't know. So who knows? Anyway, and by the way, if you aren't subscribed to Johnny Hellcat, check out his channel. Also, he streams occasionally, and him and Hate Camel do some things together, and so please check out his channel.
And Hate Camel's in the audience.
Yes, I know. He was here a little bit earlier, so glad to see you there. Anything else you want to add? Or anything you want to say to the chat or anything like that?
I actually, for you, I have been trying to catch you on an open time. See if you have some stream time available.
Yeah, no, I know. My sleep schedule is very different than yours. Just the way I work, but I will when I can. I absolutely am looking forward to doing that. I've enjoyed coming on your stream occasionally.
Yeah, we have a stand-up lined up for you. So yeah, if you wanted to join us for that, that'd be cool.
Sweet. Yep. You just you can message me on Twitter. You do that. We talk on Twitter every once in a while too. So yeah, absolutely. Let me know. All right, man.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you so much for being here. Everyone, say thank you to Johnny Hellcat, and you have a good day, my friend.
Yeah, you guys have a good day.
All right, brother. All right, let's see. Next, I've got Willett Forge coming in. Let me add him in here before I mess that up. There we go. Hello, Will.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
I am glad you are here. How are you today?
Hey, first of the year, actually slept. Let's see what 2021 brings us to. Hope it's not a here, hold my beer moment, right?
Okay, true. Now, so you didn't do some major partying last night?
Nah, I was sitting in my chair here with the two laser cats for Lords of the Night ringing in the new year, and then 12:01 a.m. The neighborhood started setting off the big guns as far as the fireworks goes.
Really? You know, it's funny. I usually in my neighborhood, there's two families that are really into setting off the fireworks, and I think I must have been asleep by. I'd fallen asleep probably I'd fallen asleep on the couch watching movies with my wife at about 11:15. She's like, go to bed. You're not going to make it. I'm like, hey, you're right. So I go to bed, and normally there's this barrage of fireworks at midnight every year. And I go to bed, and I fall asleep, and I heard one loud boom, and that was it. I was like, usually they're just setting, they go over to Wisconsin and buy all these fireworks, and it's just a big light show out the window. But no, not this year. One big boom, and that was it.
Well, near me, something like New Year's, it's typically we'll start with medium to small things going off nearby around 5:30. As soon as maybe a little earlier. As soon as it starts getting dark,
right?
Don't get me started on the 4th of July. They start like 7 days ahead of time on that, and it's
4th of.
But I live like right on the edge of the city, kind of thing. And if I could get on the roof of my building, 4th of July, I'd be able to see fireworks at least 16 compass points around me.
Right.
I can stand on my deck and do there's to the east, there's the east, southeast, southeast, south, southeast. I can just go right around until the building blocks my point of view in the direction of the west and say, hey, there's just a huge run. But last night it was reasonably tame. You'd have like somebody doing a 5-10-minute display, by their house or in a local park, maybe every half hour or so, just as soon as it got dark, you're like, oh yeah, that's over by that park. Oh, that's by that neighborhood. And then midnight hit, and then boom, it's like a city display in the parking lot. It was that loud, that close.
Wow.
I'm glad the laser cats are just not they're not bugged by things like thunderstorms and everything like that. So they're like perked up because, oh, hey, this is new, but they weren't like running and hiding the way they do when somebody knocks on the door.
Right. Yeah, no, my 4th of July this year, we were at our friend's lake house, and my son and his friends were all there, and they must have bought about $1,500 worth of fireworks. I mean, they were blowing things up off the dock, but then you look around the entire lake, and every dock around the lake is setting off fireworks. It was just like, it looked like like you were in DC or something. But anyway, so the question of the day is your either favorite or most notorious story of 2020 that will always remind you of 2020, and then prediction for 2021.
Well, it's kind of fuzzy as far as the story goes, because there's a little bit of overlap, because not because they're related, but because one has led to some of the other. But the thing that's been getting to me this year, more so than the coof, has been the what passes for protest.
Okay.
And
yeah,
it's the, if your protest came to my house, the law says that if you took a step towards me, I'd be not just justified but expected to shoot you.
Yeah.
And folks, if you want to get your message across, you're not doing it with the violence.
Yeah, no.
It gets all the way over to the shooting in Minneapolis. The police officers, and I don't, you talk about your man bites dog story thing, and I don't know the name off the top of my head, but it's like, okay, this is the first time since May that officers in that city, it's a big city.
Yeah, it is.
Have killed anyone in the line of duty. And what they have immediately is people mobbing around, gathering to protest this. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to tear down the police tape. They're trying to get in, throw snow and ice at the police. That's called contaminating the scene.
Yeah. No.
If you want the evidence and you want to know everything that happens and get the real story, which obviously they don't, you're not breaking into it. You let the investigation be done. If you're not happy with the results of the investigation, you look for somebody to do, an investigation into the investigation. I'm all for that.
Right.
If you think that an investigation was crooked, I'm perfectly happy with another group looking into that and saying, no, yeah, here's video, here's this, here's that, all the ducks in a row. What are they doing? We want to get rid of and or maybe even kill the police. No questions asked. They shot somebody, therefore they're wrong. Well, no. They shot somebody, they may be wrong.
Or
they may be right. It's a story.
And in the past, you would always assume. I mean, not. I don't know if the word "assume" is the right word, but you would have the benefit of doubt to the police unless some other evidence came up. And now it's just the opposite. There is no benefit in the doubt, no matter what happened, over who got shot, no matter what the situation. We're going to protest before we know what happened. And, this guy could have been shooting his grandmother and his entire family, and they shot him to stop them from shooting the baby. But, nope. You shot a man. You killed the police. I mean, the headline itself was police shooting at a traffic stop. Well, a traffic stop? You mean like someone who's going 10 miles over the speed limit and that was a traffic stop? No, this is not a traffic stop. This was a felony suspect, you know, and who shot at the officers first. But no, the headline is police shooting at a traffic stop causes protests. Like, what? You had to read, you know, 10 lines into the article to know that they were returning fire, not just shooting someone randomly. So anyway.
Well, the one article I had on that, you had to go like 20 lines in, and then it was another 20 lines before you start saying, aside from him just shooting at the police, there might be other justifications here, but all interspersed through there is, you know, things like the police are asking for permission to use less than lethal and fully non-lethal means to disperse the crowd, which is trying to tear down the police tape, throwing snow and ice at them and trying to get on the scenes. Like, if this was a murder if this was police coming in because somebody murdered grandma,
right,
and they're doing the investigation, you know, they would want them to be able to do their jobs in the investigation. I'm sorry. I'm all for the benefit of the doubt. Exactly. For the police. And there's this thing called due process. Yeah. You know, you got, I mean, I don't know if there's a separate police term for it, but basically the rules of engagement. If the suspect starts shooting at you, not only is it justified to shoot back, it's authorized and expected.
It should be expected because someone shooting at you could hit somebody else. That's where it is.
Yeah, aside from the threat they're posing to the officers, there's a threat they're posing to the general public. Right. It's not saying the person is guilty of whatever they were being held for or stopped for. It's a matter of the exigent circumstances, the whole escalation of force thing. And it's not saying that they're, you know, it's not saying the person is guilty of carjacking, but as soon as they started shooting at the police, they forfeit the right to be completely free of risk of harm.
Right.
If you know, if the police pull you over and, you know, you stop, you roll down your window however much, you got your interior lights on, your hands on hands on the top of the steering wheel, the things I do every single traffic stop.
Yep.
You have the expectation, the legal right to expect that whatever is going on, I'm leaving the scene alive.
Exactly. All right,
real quick. Leaving the scene alive with a ticket and driving off. Oh. I might be leaving the scene alive in the back of a police car because of something that's going on. You know, I'm a nice, good, law-abiding person, so it's not going to be anything that I actually did that's putting me in the police car. But, you know, stuff happens. But I've got the expectation of walking away from this alive.
Yep.
If I pull my carry and start unloading it in the general direction of the police officers, I have forfeit that right to expect to walk away alive and unharmed.
Mm-hmm. No,
that's not a matter of denying me due process. What we've got here now, we've got a shooting. The investigation is trying to go on. You've got due process. Okay, put the officers on desk duty, suspend them, whatever, but you should have the assumption of innocence until guilt is proven.
Right. Well, and in this case, they're going to release the body cam footage, so we should get a good sense of that.
And they've released some, and I guess they're going to be releasing more. But I'm fully convinced, especially in some place like Minneapolis, Seattle, Portland, you could have and just because, I'm not saying this is something that is common for black men, because it's got to fit the narrative. You could have a black man executing a family on the front yard. They started with the pets. They just moved to the youngest. They're going youngest to oldest. It's a big family. It's a family of 7.
Right.
They just killed the second dog. They got the gun pointed at the kid, and the police roll up, and he either turns the weapon on the police or doesn't immediately drop it and raise his hands, follow every instruction, and have the police shoot him. And this whole thing could be happening on live TV. He called the press, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they're all there, cameras rolling as he shoots the cat, he shoots the dog, he turns the camera, he turns the gun on the kids, and that police shooting would spark protests.
Here's the problem, though. Joe Biden says you could have shot him in the leg.
Being more likely to kill him.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Give me a prediction for 2021. I'm gonna get to the next person here, but give me one prediction for 2021. By the way, Bearcock, you are up next. By the way, just FYI, one prediction for 2021.
Well, the news cycle say unless the legal challenges to the 2020 election, get through somehow, the 2021 is going to be a miraculous news reset on the news cycle. Everything's going to be good. The vaccine is going to be ahead of schedule, and it's going to be because of Joe Biden and Harris. All these, I think there's going to be a split on your dog bites or man bites dog stories, because the ones that can be they're going to be pushing for blaming it on the environment set by the previous administration, blaming it on, there's corruption in that one police department or that small town going back to the 50s or 40s and Jim Crow and everything. But it's going to be a miraculous turnaround. Life's going to be good. It's, the unemployment's not going to matter. The fact that all the COVID stuff has still got employment largely in the can. The economy is going to be great. Life is good. Time is going to reset. The only references to 2020 and before is going to be because you have to have something to contrast. And if we're having any struggles today, it is caused by this nebulous before.
They're all going to disappear because there is no Trump. And here's
right.
Let me add that. I think that the news media that has spent their time making their dime off of Trump is going to begin to fail. I think you're going to see the CNNs and MSNBC and even Fox News. They're all going to lose ratings back to people who are who just report it and prescribe, give it. I think you're going to see a lot more people seeking out their own news. But
45 days, Jim Acosta, Chris Elizabeth will not know what to say.
Exactly. So, all right, man, I'm gonna move on to the next one. I appreciate you so much for being a supporter of the show, and thank you so much. But I'm gonna get the next person here. But thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm hoping to do more cameo shots and other shows, as well as doing my own. Have a wonderful 2020.
Well, thank you. You too. Happy New Year, my brother.
Happy New Year.
All right, now, thanks. All right, we're gonna move on here. Bearcock's been very patiently waiting there, and also, by the way, there is a link down in the description down below if you want to jump on the show today. I'm gonna keep going for a while here since I have very few restrictions. Good morning to our friend Bearcock, and I always say Bearcock, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's the way I'm gonna say it because it's funny. How you doing, my man?
That's how I'm doing good. That's how I say it when my wife's not around.
Fantastic. What's going on, my man?
Oh, not much. It's calling from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, well, that's my hometown. That's where I grew up.
Yeah. Yeah, my son's in the NICU here.
In what now?
My son is in the NICU.
What is that?
That's where babies go when they're born early or they have problems.
Oh, man. Oh, and do you live in that area?
He's doing good. Well, I live near Grand Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So about 2.5 hours away.
I've been to Grand Island. I know all about it, man. So he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's doing good. He was born 25 weeks early.
Oh my goodness.
got a new son out of it.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Well, congratulations, man. That is wonderful. I'm glad he's doing well. Oh, and I see you. Okay, I see what you're saying. So your New Year's was spent just
well, I stayed at the NICU with him and my wife until around 10. Then we went to a hotel room and brought in the new year a fun way.
Okay, well that's cool. Now I can't remember. My mother and my nephew still live in Omaha. Is Nebraska shut down the way other places are, or are there things open and things to do?
Nothing's really shut down. I mean, like the big box stores require you to wear a mask inside.
Right.
But small stores, gas station, you can walk in without a mask. No one bothers you.
Okay. How about are the restaurants open or anything?
Oh yeah, all the restaurants are open. Even some of them, like Burger King's and like your regular chain stores, have limited like indoor sit down eating.
Okay.
But your mom and pop restaurants are all open. There's no state law requiring them to be closed.
Okay.
I mean, city ordinance in Omaha and Lincoln are a little all over the place, but small towns like Grand Island or Hastings or North Platte, places like that, they're all open. Everything's open.
Okay.
Everyone's living their life normally.
Okay, cool. Well, so tell me, so the thing today I'm asking people is one significant story that for you is 2020, and then one prediction for 2021.
I think it's a mixture of stories. It's, at the beginning of the Wuhan flu, when it was in China and Italy and we were wondering how bad it was going to be, the mainstream media just kept talking to us about the flu and acting like, the Wuhan flu wasn't going to be anything. We don't need to wear masks. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And then, flip around 2 months later, once we got the real statistics and like, the death count's not that bad. Most people recover. It doesn't affect the young. There's not really much to worry about here. That's when the mainstream media picked it up and act like we were all going to die.
Right. Yeah, it's weird because
that's 2020 summed up to me.
It went from, Trump's an idiot. There's no way this is going to be that bad. Why do we have this commission? This and that and yada yada. To Trump killed 300,000 people. It's like
literally went from go hug a Chinese person in Chinatown to Trump killed everyone.
Right, and just the it's kind of weird hypocrisy from even some of the politicians who like I said, Nancy Pelosi, we'll come to Chinatown, we're safe and we're here and we're hugging and whatever. And then it's, then, oh no, this is all Donald Trump's fault. He downplayed the virus. Not like, Dr. Fauci or anyone else around him didn't in the beginning either. But anyway, and then a prediction for 2021.
Trump will be president.
Really? Do you think think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think there's enough evidence. I think there's enough foreign interference that he can make it a military issue to make it happen. And if it doesn't, there's going to be a lot of people on the right who make Antifa look like Girl Scouts.
Do you think that'll happen?
I do. Like people used to talk shit when Obama was in office. Oh, we're not going to put up with this stuff. We're not going to put up with this stuff. But I mean, at least the people I'm around, which is very conservative people, very Republican people, they're not playing this time. It's not just angry words that they're spouting. They're really not going to participate in a system that gives them no voice and no choice.
I just wonder about that, because there's, especially the lockdown protests, which, which have been peaceful. Okay, relative to even regardless, people saying, oh, these people out there with guns and this and that, and they're dangerous, and yet they haven't broken anything, they haven't hurt anybody, they haven't beat anybody up. Versus when you look at the Antifa and they're burning down shit, or even some of the BLM
it's like
protests.
It's like the old saying: it's not the barking dog that you have to be afraid of.
Right. And yet, I think there has been some effect by the lockdown protesters, at least in some states. I think that the knucklehead in Michigan, she's not budging and even defying her own courts. But I just don't know. My experience with the right, as I've been more on the right most of my life, is that we just aren't that willing to destroy things or hurt people, as you know, other than a very fringe, you know, one or two out there who've done terrible things. But I just don't know. I maybe it's just I'm a little bit more black-pilled on this too, that that all this effort is for naught, and we're just gonna have to suffer through 2 years of Biden and 2 years of Harris, and see the huge swing in both the House and the Senate in 2022. You know,
but I don't know if this is the normal everyday election. You know, I don't think this is just like, oh, we'll have a Republican for 4 years, a Democrat for 4 years. I think we're at the turning point of history. I think, you know, at a certain point, if we just, you know, close our eyes and walk along, you know.
I don't think it's going to be close our eyes.
1930s Jewish people walking into train carts. Well, they're not going to kill us all. They can't kill us all. You know?
Here's where I don't necessarily find that analogy. I just think, you know, for example, every time a new president is elected, or there's a wave of one party into power and the other one gets pushed out. This is the last time you're going to see Democrats elected, or this is the last time you're never going to see Republicans elected again. I've been hearing that since I was a kid. I've been hearing that since the first election I remember was in 1976, when, you know, Nixon had resigned. We had Gerald Ford for a few years. Carter comes in. There's a big wave of Democrats that they were already in power as far as the House and the Senate, but there's a big wave when Carter came in, right? And and everyone in 1976 was saying, this is the end of the Republican Party. You're never going to see Republicans elected again. And Carter lasts 4 years, doesn't get reelected. You get 8 years of Reagan, 4 years of Bush. And actually, we probably would have had 8 years of Bush if the media had been honest about the recession. But because the recession really had ended during the end of Bush, the last quarter, but no one wanted to say that. But even in those years, oh no, this is the end of the Democrats. You're never going to see a Democrat president again. Then we get Bill Clinton, and then you're starting to hear, oh no, we're probably never going to have another Republican again. And then you have a Republican wave in '90, the next election. So it's like, I've seen that happen over and over and over again. And right now they say, if you let Biden become president, you're never going to see another Republican elected again. I don't think, first of all, because the fact that the House had so many Republican seats gained, one, the idea that they're going to try to make Puerto Rico a state and make DC a state and try to, you're never going to see the Senate again. I don't think any of that's going to happen. I just don't. Because they know they'll be knocked right out of office again. I think if Biden is seated as president, there's going to be an unprecedented Republican wave in the Congress and in the Senate. Even if these two knuckleheads in Georgia lose their seats, I still don't think that this is anything permanent. Our country goes in waves, and I've been watching it for the longest time. I don't think that's going to change. But as far as the protest, now that's an interesting. Your take on that is very interesting to me. Do you think that people will? Do you really think that it'll be Antifa style protest if because I agree. I don't think it's going to be Antifa protest. I don't think it's going to be people protesting in the street. At least not where I'm from. Yeah. Well, great. There are militant people. There are people that you can only push a Christian conservative so far. Right.
We're not going we're not going to accept your chips to, if you're vaccinated, you can have a vaccine, passport or
Oh my God,
anything like that. We're not going to accept anything like that if they try to push it. If they try to push certain things, like with this administration, like if Trump folds and doesn't do what he has the ability to do, and he just goes quietly into the night, and the Democrats come in and start trying to push these stupid laws and these certain things, it's like there's only so much people are willing to put up with. And I think for the most part, at least the people I'm around, we're at the end of what we're willing to accept. Like we will go to this point and no further. And if you try to push us further, we will abandon this society and create a different society. We're fine with, you don't want to throw away a car just because the transmission went bad. But if the transmission's bad and the engine's bad and you can't get anyone to fix it, you take the thing to the dump.
Yeah, I one thing where I agree is I think that it's how they're not seeing. Well, no, and not how they. I know how they're not seeing the election fraud and the, all the evidence that they've come up with, and these states who are, I think the states and these governments and judges or whatever are just afraid because of the violence that's been happening. But you can't do that. You have to examine what it is. I don't care if they go in and say, okay, we are going to audit every single one of these states, and it turns out wrong and Trump actually lost. I'm fine with that, but go and audit it, because I think that he actually won. And if you don't audit it and you don't do it in a way that has some controls that so they can't play shenanigans in an audit, as in having, people represented from, both sides, and very transparent audit, no one's going to believe it anyway. But if you do that the right way, and they were correct that this was basically stolen, then some people should be going to jail too. And the fact that our media is so incurious about it, or uncurious, I don't know what the word is.
Well, that's just the propaganda wing of the Democratic Party.
Well, they kind of are. They are. They don't want to. It's like, I gave the example I was talking to Scribe.
Like,
Jake Tapper. How many?
They called the election for Biden the night of.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
How many witnesses have you been seen interviewed by media other than OAN or Newsmax? You would, if this were the other way around, they would be interviewing people left and right. Hello, Ronan. How you doing? Nice to see you.
I better let you go, P-Dawg. My wife's here and she's
on
the phone for so long.
Hey, there you go. The boss has spoken. So, well, thank you so much for joining me, man, today. And I appreciate your continued support on the show. And I hope to see you again.
Appreciate you doing the show, man. Seriously.
All right,
give me something to do while I'm working. Have a good one.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, gang. So again, we have the lines open. The link is in the description down below, and I'm going to go for probably until about the top of the next hour, since I don't have any restrictions today, other than when Lady Booner gets up, we're going to have I'm going to make some breakfast. We're going to have some bacon and eggs and some mimosas, because we both are off work today, and we're going to enjoy our day. Oops, excuse me. Anyway, sorry. I think I need a little more cough syrup. All right, so now let's go back to some of these headlines. The best headlines of 2020. I don't know if I should say the best or the worst, but and we're only going to see the headlines. This one, The Family. We can't have a feminist future without abolishing the family. Feminist leaker Sophie Lewis has a radical proposal for what comes next. Oh, isn't that special? All right, that's lovely. Moving on. Let's see this one. Oh, the racist roots of fighting obesity. Prescribing weight loss to black women ignores barriers to their health. Okay. Again, the this is low expectations in people. As if all black women are obese. I hate to tell you this, they're not. My sister was quite fit. In even into her 50s, she was quite fit. So the racist roots of fighting obesity. Oh my gosh. British woman loses lawsuit after relationship with chandelier is not a protected status. Oh my God. Is this one of those people who married their inanimate object? Her relationship with the chandelier. Oh, good Lord. By the way, the link to join the show is in the description down below. Feel free to jump in at any time. Here's one. These are real articles, folks. Coronavirus is leading to shortages of fentanyl and meth. The pandemic has slowed the production and export of chemicals from China to Mexico for onward smuggling into the U.S. Well, I am so disappointed. I am so disappointed that we cannot get a good supply of fentanyl and meth thanks to the pandemic. Oh my gosh. Oh, good God. All right. Oh, what else here? Why Rebel Williams' weight loss is sad for so many women like me. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with Rebel Williams. Rebel Williams, an Australian actress who was very, very round. Okay, she was very, very overweight, but she's a funny actress. She's a funny comedian. She was in the those movies about the singers. I can't remember what it's called. She's been in a lot of movies. She's funny. She's very blunt, funny actress, and she's lost a whole bunch of weight. In fact, from this picture you can't tell, but she has lost a ton of weight. And apparently there are people in this world who are offended when somebody fat becomes fit, or at least loses weight. And it seems to me to be a bit of a I don't know. People want to be able to be narcissists and still be at size, and they blame people like Rebel Wilson for creating more fat phobia. And so that's one of those headlines. Let's see this one. The hidden bigotry. The hidden bigotry of crosswords. The popular puzzles are largely written and edited by older white men who dictate what makes it into the grid and is what is kept out. Now, my other grandmother, not the one who's taught English, but my grandmother on my father's side in my adopted family, was a prolific crossword puzzler. She did the New York Times. I mean, and she lived in Marshalltown, Iowa. Let's put it this way. She lived in Marshalltown, Iowa, but she did the New York Times crossword puzzle every day. My grandmother, a black woman living in a small town. And so I'm not sure if you know how the English language, you might know how to do a crossword puzzle, but the hidden bigotry of crosswords. Oh my God. This is in the Atlantic. Of course, the Atlantic has become a complete shit show magazine. Let's move on Do I need to stop sleeping with random guys because of the coronavirus? This was an article in Slate magazine. Oh my God, these people crack me up. Do I need to stop sleeping with random guys because of the coronavirus? Well, I might have a suggestion why you might want to stop sleeping with random guys that have nothing to do with the coronavirus, but you be you, honey. Oh my gosh. Let's see. What's the next one here? Oh, blood of recovered COVID-19 patients is being sold as vaccine on the dark net. Had coronavirus? You could make $21,600 per liter. What? This is advice. I've had the coronavirus. Huh. Per liter? Now, liter. What is that? How does a liter translate to pints? Because in the US you give pints of blood. I don't know. I am one of those people, those rare people who has an abundance of platelets. So I used to donate platelets once a month, where you go in and you have that thing coming in and out and whatever. But $21,000 a liter, holy shit! But still, that's weird. Oh, good morning, Moon-Based Radio. I didn't notice you in the chat till just now. I don't know how long you've been here, but I hope you are having a fantastic day. Moving on, Sarah Palin in a fursuit perfectly embodies the surreal horror of 2020. Yes, Sarah Palin was on the Masked Singer. If you lose a liter, you're fucked. Yeah, I would think so. Okay, 2.133 pints. Yeah, that's a lot of blood. I don't know. Maybe people have more blood where they do liters. Who knows? You need to get to a blood center and donate. Yeah, if I can make 22. Well, let's see. So 10,000 a pint. God damn, I could do that. Do that once a month. Except blood. Let's see. Give blood. Oh no, give blood. You can do, I think, like every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Platelets you can't do more than once a month. You have to have at least 30 days between platelets donations. Anyway, but Sarah Palin in a fursuit. That part of the sentence sounds funny to me. Sarah Palin in a fursuit. But anyway, the horror of 2020. You know what? I'm sorry. I hate it when people hate on Sarah Palin. I still like Sarah Palin. She has a goofy voice and she says some goofy things, but she was a smart politician. The people in Alaska loved her as a governor. She was a great governor, and she's just been made into a caricature by the media. Anyway, here's one. These places make non-athletic girls feel awful. Mom, 40, breaks down in tears and leaves a fitness class early after the fit and attractive woman made her feel a failure. That sounds like a personal problem, don't you think? I'm sorry. That sounds like a personal problem. By the way, if you want to jump in the show as a call-in, the link is in the description down below. If you're getting here late, this is a call-in show day, but I am going through some of these crazy headlines from 2020 just because it's kind of fun. But yeah, if you know what, I'm sorry. If you're in a fitness class and the fit women make you feel bad and you leave on your own accord, it sounds like a personal problem that you should deal with in your own time. Whatever. Pink news. UK's biggest cervical cancer charity shuts down disgustingly transphobic lie that only females get cervical cancer. UK's biggest cervical cancer charity shuts down disgustingly transphobic lie that only females get cervical cancer. Okay, now, to my friends in the straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, furry, animal kin, whatever communities, regardless of what you choose as your gender, or even if you don't choose your gender, I don't even know. I don't care. There still are males and females. There are still two predominant sexes that are, as far as a classification, male and female are sex. Now this is what I learned from the trans community, not from me just saying this. Male and female are sex. Calling them man and woman are gender. Now I don't necessarily abide by that in my own mental thinking, but at least the fact that they used to be able to make a distinction between sex and gender, as far as this whole this whole kind of, I won't say new, but this whole new philosophy regarding that goes. So in this case, it is true that only females get cervical cancer, because female is sex, not gender. So even if you are a trans male, you are a physiological female, and only females get cervical cancer. So the idea that just disgustingly transphobic lie that only female get cervical cancer, where's the lie? If female, sex, not gender, sex. Whatever. This is one of those predictions where the cringe that Johnny Hellcat was predicting, well, that's true. Oh, more on Pink News. Jesus was gay, gender fluid drag king, says college professor. Yes, let's fit our agenda to something that you cannot prove from the past. Cambridge promotes lecturer who tweeted, "White lives don't matter, abolish whiteness." The University of Cambridge offered the promotion hours after Gopal's racist tweets went viral. They promoted him. Aren't you special? Oh, okay. Thank you, Gunfox. Not for reading on air. Check your notes. Okay, I will do that. Thanks. Thank you, Gunfox61. I'll check that out. By the way, Gunfox, who is the administrator of the PDawgKnight Discord server, if you do Discord stuff, go ahead and join our server too. The link pops up in fact, it's in the chat right now. Join it here. You click that link and you can join our Discord server. Lots of news. Gunfox especially is prolific in providing great news stories on the Discord server. We also put the show on there, and the links that we use on each show during the day, we put them on the Discord server right afterwards. And there's some fun stuff going on in there. There's different sections you can use. And someday I'm going to use it. I'm going to have some exclusive Discord just chats that we'll do on the air. So there's some things I'm trying to develop where I can use Discord more effectively in 2021, and so we'll be discussing that and trying to get that going too. So just FYI. Thank you again, Gunfox61, for the donation. Let's see here. Okay, back to the crazy headlines from 2021. Oh no, Netflix is not promoting pedophilia with cuties. Here's the thing about online outrage. It's rarely nuanced when a horde of enraged people decide a person, place, or thing concept ought to be canceled. Well, yeah. Here's the thing. The movie Cuties, I believe, was not intentionally out to promote pedophilia, but I think the director, in trying to make it shocking and or impactful turned out to making something that was probably a pedophile, whatever. I should say that word because that's one of those words that get you yellow marked. But anyway, turned out to be pretty pedophile friendly. Let's just put it that way. And I don't think Netflix intended to promote it that way, but it just came off that way. It's just, just is what it is. And Cuties was kind of, I couldn't even bring myself to watch it after hearing the descriptions of it because I wanted to watch it and review it, but I'm just like, I didn't want to watch this. I don't, just the idea that, the little girls were filmed in that manner just really, really disgusts me. Anyway, thank you, Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
For the $5 through YouTube Super Chat. It says, this 500th episode is sponsored by Brain Vision, now with a nature special attachment. Okay, help me understand that one, Select a Boy. Brain Vision. Okay. Okay. Oh, and Happy New Year, Cindy Rochelle. Nice to see you. I just noticed you were in the chat. I don't know how long you've been here. Let's see. Oh, we are buying a house. You are. You're gonna. Are you leaving the nomad life, or you just have to have a home base? Or do you already have a home base? Because I know, aren't you kind of home based in Florida? I'm not sure. Anyway, well, in fact, if you want to come on and tell me about it, click that link in the description down below. By the way, if you just got here or you haven't been here the whole time, today is a call-in show. You can, oops, what did I do there? Let's do this. Today is a call-in show, although we are going through some of the weirdest and funniest headlines of 2020. We are also, hatred for RV users is not a nice thing. I have no hatred for RV users. Cindy Rochelle is my favorite nomad on the planet. Anyway, so no, the RV users are, it's funny because, what is the show? There's a cable channel. I think it's called Destination Discovery or something like that. And I binge watched for about 4 hours, some show on extreme RVs or, super cool RVs. And I was like, oh, damn, these are pretty cool. And some of these things, man, so not only were they showing the giant, like the 44-foot bus RVs with the pop outs and all that too, but they're even showing some really cool ones that were really small, like a couple of the Airstreams that were really highly customized. There was some of these, like just one that just went on that they had on the back of a pickup, and I remember campers when I was a kid, and they were not much to them. But even this one that was a kind that sat on the back of a pickup that, came up over the top had some great amenities. I was amazed at, some of these RVs. So no, I have extreme respect for people who do the RV life. In fact, one of my best friends from college, who was a retired helicopter pilot, well, he's sort of a retired helicopter pilot, but he lives in the RV now and travels all over the country and just lives out of his RVs. He's divorced, lives by himself in his RV, travels around the country. That is a dream life for me. I would love, if I had unlimited funds, that's probably what I would do, because I just love traveling around the country and seeing different things, small towns, big towns, natural attractions, shit like that. So no, the RV life would be cool to me. All right, we're gonna keep going here. Oh, wait a minute, Cindy is in the queue here, so I'm gonna bring Cindy up. Cindy,
yeah, I think I'm in, but I can't hear them.
Cindy,
and I don't know why. Hold on.
I hear your version of me, but
I think so.
You figured it out?
It says I'm in the show.
Wait a minute. Cindy is in the
okay.
Yeah, but I can't hear you.
All right, mute my show.
No, I can't hear him, and I don't know why. Hold on.
I hear your version of me.
Yeah, I know. I think so.
All right, I'll type something in the chat.
Hold on. I would have to leave.
Mute.
Yeah, but I can't.
Okay, she's gonna have to mute the YouTube window. Okay, Cindy, you're gonna need to mute the YouTube window when you come in, and then make sure that you have me on there. All right. Well, she'll make it back. We'll figure it out. All right. We'll do headlines for a couple seconds here until Cindy gets back. All right. Where are we at here? Whoops, wrong page. Let's go back to here. All right. What was the last one we did? The Netflix and Cuties. Okay. Oh, here we go. Again, the top headlines from 2020. Why I called in black at work and how I used that time to heal. Are you out of here, Cairo? Take it easy, my friend. You have a good day. Oh, hey, 1966. I just realized that I did not say good morning to you. How you doing? And so how I called in black at work and how I use that time to that's an article I need to find and read. Calling in black. My guess is using the trauma of police shootings, dog bites man events to say I need some time off to heal. Here's one. Dear Deidre, my son cut me off completely after I had amazing sex with his teenage pal. Oh my God. Can you imagine writing into an advice column to ask about that? Oh my God. I just can't. All right. All right. Looks like Cindy's back. I'm going to bring Cindy back into the stream here. Hello.
Hey, I can hear you now.
Hey, you figured it out. How are you doing, my friend?
Pretty good.
So how's now? I'm assuming you're still in Florida. You said you were going to stay in Florida for a while. Am I correct?
Yeah. We have to stay in Florida because everywhere else is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're looking at buying a house down there or two, or are you buying somewhere else?
Yeah, we're gonna buy here in the Panhandle.
Oh, okay.
We want to get into the market before we can.
Okay. By the way, real quick, let me say hi to Thomas Cleaver, who just joined the chat. And good morning. Thank you for the well wishes. And
Higgs says hi. He said to tell you. He said hi.
Oh no, I finally caught Hig while I was in between trying to figure out if you could get in there. But anyway, so you're looking at like near Tallahassee or whereabouts?
We are west of Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
Destin area, Emerald. I think they call it the Emerald Coast.
Okay, right under Alabama there, the corner of Alabama.
Oh, yeah, right under. I think it's Conecuh National Forest.
Oh, okay. I've been in that area a little bit, although I've never actually been into Florida. That's the weird thing. That's like the only state in that corner of the country I haven't been to, which is weird.
Florida's great.
What's that?
Florida is great.
No, I know, and even since I've been married, my wife and kids went to Disney World, and I didn't go on that trip, and because I couldn't, and all my friends used to go to Florida for spring break in college, and never went to Florida, never went to Lauderdale, never did that, and but I've been in every state in the South other than Florida. I mean, I've been in all of them, and basically from all the East Coast all the way up to with Massachusetts and Maine, what I've never been to, but it's like it's weird that someone's has travels as much as I have has never been to Florida. But anyway, enough about me.
Well, Mass is not that great. You're not missing too much there.
Oh, okay.
But Maine is really pretty.
Yeah, no, that was a plan this year. We had a trip planned in July because we had a family reunion happening in upstate New York on a one weekend. So we said, okay, let's make 2 weeks of it, and we're going to go into the states in that part of the country I haven't been to, which is Massachusetts, Maine, and New Hampshire, and what's the other one? Vermont. because I haven't been to any of those states. So I'm like, okay, we're going to travel through there. We have a friend who has a house in Maine right on the Atlantic coast, and we're going to go visit them and go do all this stuff, do some lobster stuff. And we're like, that trip got canceled because of COVID. The whole family reunion got canceled. But anyway, so since you're just getting here, what we've been talking about on the call-in is a story that is either significant to you or reminiscent of 2020 for you, and then a prediction either for yourself or for the world in 2021. So,
well, I mean, the thing that comes up right now, and I'm going to call HB about this, but a more angrier call,
right?
Is Maxine Waters on Ali Velshi the other day, complaining about Trump pardoning people, and she's like, but all these other people are in prison for marijuana, whatever, and he didn't pardon them. Well, she's the freaking lawmaker. What the fuck is she talking about? she put him in there.
Right.
So that's pretty much 2020 right there. Freaking lawmakers acting like that they have no control over what they're doing.
Right. No, yeah. And I'm pretty sure she was around when they wrote the laws. I know she's been in Congress for a long time.
Been there for freaking ever.
Right.
Longer than I've been born, I think.
Yeah. And I always take the people complaining about the pardons with a grain of salt, regardless of if it's a Republican or Democrat. It's, you know what? It's one of those powers that they have in the Constitution, whether you like it or not. And I'm skeptical of him pardoning Manafort, because Manafort wasn't pardoned for something that had to do with something he did while Trump was in office or when Trump was campaigning. He was, I mean, that was his prosecution a bit gratuitous by the Mueller, just trying to get some, people prosecuted and jailed. But he was prosecuted for things that happened, 10 years earlier that he probably should have been prosecuted for before. Now, Roger Stone, ridiculous. He should have been pardoned. Fuck that bullshit. But presidents every time. I mean, if you think Clinton pardoning Mark Rich, or some of the people that Obama pardoned, or some of the people that any of them pardoned, are always going to be controversial. There's nothing you can do about it. And people in Congress complaining about it are just playing political games, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, I know she's not the brightest bulb in the bunch, but she's not that retarded.
The jury's out on that. I don't know.
But yeah, that really ticked me off. Like when I heard her saying that, I was yelling. I scared the cat. Everything.
Don't scare your cats.
They're used to us yelling.
Yeah. And they're used to us yelling about political stuff too. 'Cause I get going, man.
Right. So
we gotta slow down. Well, we're not slowing down. We're still gonna be traveling like 8 months out of the year, but we're at least gonna have like a home camp. It even has a RV hookup and everything.
Okay. Are you gonna do any kind of are you gonna rent it out when you're gone, or do any kind of Airbnb shit like that, or anything, or do you just gonna?
Because it gets too complicated and pair up stuff. And
okay.
Nah.
All right. Give me
Yeah.
Okay, so give me a prediction for 2021. Just anything that either related to you or related to the world.
Well, I predict this retardation will continue.
You mean the magic of not being 2020 isn't going to change a whole lot of shit that's going on right now? Is that what you mean?
It's just gonna get worse. I say. Take heed and take cover.
Oh, for example, and I'm going to give you an example that California just extended their restrictions. The idea that they're talking about doing the vaccination passports, which first of all, I don't know how they can even think of doing something like that, but they'll think of it. I worry. I really worry about the Georgia Senate race too.
I think it's lost, but I thought that before. I think on the night of the election, I was
You were getting
saying,
shit from
I was.
HB's chat because you were saying that.
Yeah, HB's chat was all over me because I was saying we're gonna lose the Senate.
Yeah.
Or not we, because I'm not even a part of we. I'm a different party, but the GOP was gonna lose the Senate.
Right. No, it's not looking good. The way, even, because the problem is the media can say whatever they want and just don't report. So when, for example, the other day, Ossoff made reporters asking him a tough question about something that he did, and he pushes off the idea that, well, no, this Kelly, what's her name? Kelly, I can't even think of her fucking name right now. But she's campaigning with a Klansman, and then it trends on Twitter the entire day of her campaigning with the Klansman. When someone took a picture with her, you know how many people come up and take pictures with you, and it was just some bullshit lie. If someone took a selfie, and so someone found that selfie and found out this guy had something to do with the Klan and at some point in his life, and that's what gets amplified. It's like, that's not Loeffler. Thank you, Rusty Shaq. And so that was what's getting amplified. It's like, oh fuck, for fuck's sake! Now you instead of spending time explaining what you're going to do as a senator, you're explaining, what are you talking about? Some idiot took a picture with me like I do with thousands of people while I'm campaigning. Whatever. But
I think that was Epstein's MO too. Because you see him with a lot of people and photos with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
I think that was intentional. That was intended to be used against them at some point.
Yeah. Well, they do have footage of him partying with Trump, for example, in the 90s. But then they fail to say that, Trump's the one who gave the goods on him in Florida because he did something wrong at Mar-a-Lago and he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago forever. But no, we're not going to hear about that. We're just going to show the pictures of when they were partying back in, 1990 or whatever it was. So,
well, I saw Anderson Cooper partying at fucking Times Square last night with no mask.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, we were watching that last night.
Crap.
Him and that weird dude from
Lemonades. Yeah.
And they were doing shots and shit, but that was part of our. By the way, what did you do last night? What did you do for New Year's Eve?
Oh, we went down to Destin Harbor, but the fireworks got canceled because it was raining. Oh, did they? Oh. But it was our anniversary too. That's our wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary! Good for you. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, no mask, hardly any mask. And we even went to this like fudge thing, and the guy was telling people to take off your mask. The guy making the fudge, he was doing like a show. He's like, take that mask down, and you say this. And
really?
Like, yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know. Oh gosh, the mask Nazis. I living where I live in Minnesota. I was pretty diligent about wearing masks wherever I went. You're wearing masks and you go into the stores and this and that. And the only place I didn't wear it at work because I was not around people. I was always more than, usually more than 20 feet away from most people where I work, And I still got it. It's like, okay, so guess the mask didn't work that much because I was pretty diligent and didn't spend a lot of time around people. If you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it. And the mask ain't doing shit for you anyway.
No, they're not going to work. Well, I mean, I was a chemical officer, and we did all that bio training. Like, if you're not deconning properly, it's not going to do crap. And these masks that everyone's wearing, these fashion masks, it's just cloth over your face. It's a freaking burqa.
Well, even the paper ones that they provide at some place, like they have paper masks they provide us at work, and it's like, unless you're wearing it exactly the correct way and not messing with it, it's not doing anything for you because you got to bend the nose so it fits your nose and the side of your face. If you're not wearing it that way, which I see so many people wearing it or wearing the mask down below their nose, it's like, well, what's the point of wearing a mask if it's below your nose?
Well, honestly, it's not going to do anything. Your best bet, though, to stay healthy is wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
Right.
That's how you don't catch the flu.
Yeah.
But it's so hard not to touch your face. Like I know I touch my face 10 million times a day, and so does everybody else.
Yeah. So, okay. Any other predictions for 2021?
I don't have any. Do you have any, babe?
No, you pretty much covered it. The shit show's gonna continue. We'll lose more freedoms.
I don't know if you can hear him.
I hear you just fine. Yes, I do.
The world has become a giant handbasket.
And we're all in it, going straight to hell.
Pretty
All
much.
right.
We're just gonna try to enjoy the ride,
Yeah. Well, good luck with the house buying. You have one already picked out and all that, or you're still just hunting?
Oh, yeah, we're like well into it. We've already signed.
Oh, dropped the offer and all that, signed and whatnot.
We're just waiting for the financing because VA. It's VA, so it takes longer.
Yeah, I used to do VA loans when I was in that business, so I know there's just a little bit more little bit more stringent on the inspections and things that have to be fixed for a VA loan and stuff. So yeah, you go through a little, not a ton more, but just enough to make the process a little bit longer. So
yeah, we're hoping to close the 15th of February, so it's still a while out.
oh, you got time. There you go.
Oh, and we ran out of propane, but we're too lazy to go take the coach down to go get some, so we're just.
Not that we're too lazy. The cats eat it.
And the cats ate it, so we're not gonna get propane for like another 2 weeks.
Really? What do you do? How do you live without propane when you're in an RV?
Well, I have a butane stove, and
Okay.
for hot water, it's either like a horse bath or they have showers here that we can use.
Oh, because you're hooked up at a park.
Yeah. We're at Eglin Air Force Base, and we do have to wear masks here
Okay.
by order of the commander. So not outside. We can like run around outside, but if you go into the commissary or anything, you have to wear a mask.
Oh, okay. So,
But hey, it's pretty secure. They're not gonna have any looting here.
hey, true. that would be a trick.
Yeah, I don't know. They would not. Nobody would get in here.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. I'm so glad that you guys are in that process of getting a home. That's good for you. And
Sorry, I haven't been around. We just been so busy with everything.
oh well, you've been here once in a while. It's all good. I know you're still out there, and if you decide to travel anywhere, travel safe and have a great 2021. Happy New Year.
You too. Happy New Year.
All right.
Be
All right.
healthy.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you, Cindy, for coming on. If anyone else wants to come on, the link's in the description or it shows up in the chat. So let's go through the rest of some of these headlines. We're going to call it a day because I said I'm going to try to be done by noon my time. So there's a few more of these that are pretty funny. Let's see. What's this one? Oh, my God. This is a headline from, I don't know what magazine. Black and minority children excluded by whitewashed sex education, leading to higher rates of STIs. Really? How? Okay. Sex. Nice chatting with you too, by the way, Cindy. Thank you. And Hig too. So wait a minute. Black and minority. Okay, I don't even understand. Again, if they're excluded, it's because they're not teaching the same things. I don't know. Here's one. This is Michelle Obama discusses racism she experienced as first lady. White people don't even see me. Now I remember this one distinctly. This is when she was talking about I guess she was in a store and some lady asked her to pick up something off of a shelf because it was up on high on a shelf, and there was some short lady, and Michelle Obama is like 6 feet tall in heels. I gotta tell you, the racism she experienced as first lady. I'm sorry. I can't. How about this one? Priest in New York church Christ is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. Not just a professor, but there's a priest saying this too. Once you belong to Christ, said Father Rick Walsh, you belong to all others who belong to Christ as well. Now, here's the thing. Please. Hey, Robert Chalk, by the way. I couldn't even talk about Michelle Obama in that. It's like, you are married to the most powerful man in the world. I'm sorry, you can handle whatever little racism, she said. Let me go back to this, because let me read this again. The racism she experienced as First Lady. Now, let's analyze this sentence. The racism she experienced as First Lady. Not as a black woman, but as First Lady. White people don't even see me. Well, you know what? Nobody elected you, Michelle, but you were the most visible and one of those most admired women in America for whatever damn reason. Because you're married to Barack. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, moving on. Merriam-Webster alters the definition of sexual preference to say it's offensive after Hirono attacked Barrett for using it. Now, remember that? Because Amy Coney Barrett said something about sexual preference, and Hirono, Maisie Hirono said that's offensive. And then we found like hundreds of examples of Democrats talking about sexual preference. But Merriam-Webster changed the definition right after that, because it wasn't, literally, they changed a definition in their publication of sexual preference, saying that it's sometimes an offensive term. Shut the F up. Moving on, let me just make sure don't have anybody waiting in the queue. All right. The privilege of play, from microaggressions to acts of overt racism. Why swimming isn't inviting minority groups. This is so stupid. And then they have a picture of Maritza Corella McClendon, the first black woman to qualify for the U.S. Olympic swim team. You know what? Now, I grew up in Omaha, and there were pools in both my end of town and the end of town that I lived in before we moved out of the hood. There were pools. There was. In fact, I can think of two pools. One near Kellam, and the other one, it's in North Omaha. I can't remember what's the hell the name of that park. But anyway, and I know that all of those pools offered swimming lessons. Now, is swimming a popular thing among the black peoples? It's a joke that black people can't swim, but that's not true, because there have been Olympic swimmers who are black. I took swimming lessons from the time I was like 5 years old up until probably 8th or 9th grade. I got all the way up to junior lifeguard, and I never took the lifeguard exam. But you know what? And I'm a black man, and I didn't feel like there was microaggressions that caused me to not want to swim, because I loved to go swimming. When we used to go to the pool, we'd get pool passes for the summer and go to the pool every day if we could, because I liked to go swimming and jump off the diving boards and all that shit. But from microaggressions to acts of overt racism. Well, I know a lot of black people joke about not being able to swim, but I don't know that there's any real barrier. Well, I don't know if swimming lessons cost, how much they cost nowadays. So that might be, I don't know, whatever. A black dude taught me how to swim. Yeah, in fact, I know that one of my swim teachers when I was growing up was black too. So I don't know. Anyway, let's see what this one is. Oh, yeah. Oh, U.S. Dictionary, Merriam-Webster, to change its definition of racism. Yay! Modification as at the request of a black woman who wanted it to better reflect the oppression of people of color. not racist, huh? Well, excuse me while I change around some definitions. Now you're racist. Nazi. Go to college, bitch. I added the bitch part, but again, that's the oppression Olympics. That's the critical race theory, where there has to be an oppressor and there has to be someone being oppressed. And so critical race theory says because you are a certain race, you are automatically an oppressor. And if you are of another race, you are automatically oppressed. And I don't know, I've never felt oppressed, so I don't know. Oppressed is a pretty damning thing. Anyway, USC professor placed on leave after black students complained his pronunciation of a Chinese word affected their mental health. I'm curious of what Chinese word that was. Is anyone's? I remember when this happened, but I can't remember what the word was. I can't remember. I laughed. There was also, I remember an article not an article, it was a Twitter feed, who this woman was she was buying makeup. And it was, I think, some eyeliner that said it had black, negro, and maybe the French version, noir. Okay, it had black, negro, and noir, which are the English, Spanish, and French words for black. And she was complaining on Twitter of how racist it was to have negro on this tube of I think it was mascara. I don't know what it was. Because all she saw was negro. Not realizing that negro is the Spanish word for black. Schwarz. Yes, that's the German word for black. Schwarz. Or no, Schwarz. Yeah, Schwarz. Yeah, Schwarz is black. Anyway, that's probably, I'm guessing that this U.S. professor put on paid leave probably said a word in Chinese that probably, I don't know, but affected their mental health. God, we have some pussies in this world these days. Rutgers University says grammar is racist, gets called out for assuming minorities can't write correctly. Oh my God. You can't win for losing. This is one of those, because I remember this too. They were talking about how Rutgers was going to stop having grammar requirements. And so now, because you're either racist if you require grammar requirements, or you're racist if you don't require grammar requirements, because now you're saying that you're assuming minorities can't write correctly. When I first saw this, when Rutgers did this too, that's the first thing I said, though. I said, what? You don't think people from other cultures or languages can't learn to write and use grammar correctly? I mean, are you really saying that? That's almost more racist than saying that you're going to do it to make it easier for them. I don't want shit easier for my kids. I don't want easier things for the black community. I don't want things easier. I want the same expectations and requirements so that people can strive to be something better. Okay? Jesus Christ. All right, moving on. I only got a few more of these, so we're going to go through these and then I'm going to call it a day. This is an actual article. I'm a non-white feminist. Whole article on this. A whole article on I'm a non-white feminist. All right then. Alrighty. But white feminists are some of the worst people in the world, so I get it. Anyway, believe all women is a right-wing trap. How feminists got stuck answering for a canard. Oh, a canard? Really? Are you saying that nobody nobody on the left was saying believe all women. By the way, good morning, another monotreme or treem. P-Dawg, their mental health is in doubt already. Yeah, well, you know, if they're and look, if you're crying over a word, I'm sorry, I had to read Huckleberry Finn when I was a kid. Yeah, that word's in there. That word, you know, the word that shall not be said by anyone lacking the melanin content of those who are allowed to say the word. And you know what? Holy shit, did I just get through it? No problem. You know what? Words are a part of history. Words are a part of our culture. Words, even the bad ones that nobody's supposed to say. You just learn to understand and put some context to the meaning. And, you know, like the other day when someone was saying, you know, the girl who got kicked out of the University of Tennessee because of a Snapchat from when she was 15 years old, that some kid decided that she was going to get back at the school because she said a racial slur, which actually she was just saying the lyrics to some rap song. See, here's the thing. A racial slur is only a racial slur when it's being used as a racial slur. If it's not being used as a racial slur, it's just a word. It's nothing. So if it's someone singing along to a rap song and a nigga pops out because you're singing along to a rap song that's very popular and it just pops out, it's not being used as a racial slur, and thus to me, it is not a racial slur. Now, I'm not saying that you should run around if you're a white person, okay? If you're around a bunch of your friends, like I made this joke in a video a long time ago. If you're at Coachella, right, and Young Thug's up on the stage and everyone around you is partying and singing along to the song, and that word pops out because that's in the song, and you're at Coachella about a bunch of your friends, well, let that shit fly because nobody gives a shit, okay? But if you're on the bus in Baltimore, in the hood, and you're all along the white bus, you got your headphones on, and you're singing along to Young Thug, and you get that word popped out, right? You might want to have a little bit of situational awareness because you might just get a beat down. But I'm not even saying that that's right. You're singing along to the words of a song. I don't give a shit. Now, if you're using it, you know, as a racial slur directed at somebody to their face when you're in a heated argument, I may suggest you choose better words. Not necessarily because I give a fuck what that words you're using is, because it sure ain't gonna hurt me. I'm gonna laugh at you if you use that towards me. I will laugh at you. I laugh at people who use that word anymore because I haven't heard someone use it in context since I was in grade school. But I would laugh at your ass. You got to be kidding me. Is that supposed to hurt me? But if you're on the bus in Baltimore, so you might get, you know, like again, it may be situational awareness. So, but anyway. Oh, Joe Biden's here. I didn't even see you, Uncle Bad Touch.
Come on, man.
How you doing, man? Nice to see you. All right. But anyway, back to the most iconic headlines of 2020. Oh, I'm over time. Well, I don't care. I'm just going to keep going because this is fun. By the way, if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and do that. Oh, we've got way more likes than people. That's cool. Good. Also, please share the stream out even before, after, or during the stream. It helps when you share the stream. It also helps when you leave comments in the comment section if you're watching a replay or come back to catch something earlier part of the show. Throw a comment in the comment section, and donations through Streamlabs, Super Chats, Venmo, and Cashapp, all in the description down below. And if you still want to call in, is anyone in the queue? I didn't check. Okay, no one's in the queue. So, all right, let's finish up these headlines and then we're going to get out of here. Since I wasn't going to go through all of them, but now I'm just laughing because they're so funny. We're going to keep going here. Seattle defunded the police. Now businesses are leaving and rioters still aim explosives at cops. Yep. That is a indicative headline of 2020. All right, moving on. Let's see. I've always loved fried chicken, but the racism surrounding it shamed me. It should be a source of pride for black people. It's complicated though. Girl, you eat that you just eat that fried chicken and don't worry about what anybody thinks. Good Lord. God, I'm sorry. I can't. Anyway, all right. Wait a minute. What? I use boobs, you boob. What are we talking about here? I have no idea. But anyway. All right, here's one. How Big Chungus fell victim to Nazi shit posters. I have no idea. I've never seen that headline, but it's, you know what? If that headline isn't a 2020 headline, I've never seen a 2020 headline. Oh my God. I dumped my broke husband only to find out he is rich and was only pretending. Oh my goodness. You had fried chicken for dinner last night. Cairo's going to have some fried chicken tonight. Right on. I got to tell you, right on. You know, I'm actually going to, my tradition on New Year's Day is I always make some collard greens. Now, I'm not necessarily a traditional soul food eating, black person, but I love to make collard greens on New Year's Day. I don't know why. Some collard greens and I don't know. I think I have a couple sweet potatoes upstairs. I could do that, and I think we have some beef in the fridge. I'll throw in the oven. Anyway, just. I dumped my broke husband only to find out he is rich and was only pretending. I don't know how you pretend to be broke, but sometimes I say, good for her. Good for her. All right, just a few more. Oh, here's one. Body positivity movement. Why my body is not important. Well, you die at 50, it'll be important. The body positivity movement has taken over social media and forced the diet industry to reinvent itself. Its mainstream success has led to more diversity in the beauty and fashion industries, but not all feel included. Oh my gosh. But you want more. Inam, Kayela, Liza, and Neom and Vanessa are plus-size models and are active members of the online body positivity community who say they have experienced exclusion and unequal pay. Yeah, you probably have unequal work too, because most people still don't want to have a bunch of fat people modeling their shit. But I digress, and as I say that as a fat person myself, no one wants to see my fat ass modeling shit. I get it. I don't care. They feel the movement fails to represent fat black women. The BBC's Lorna Aka reports. You're more likely to see fat black women in commercials these days than you are to see anyone else, or not anyone else, but fat white women. I see fat black women in commercials all the time because supposedly that's your new cultural norm they want to push on you. I'd rather push healthy lifestyles personally, but that's just me. I don't care. Anyway, man avoids jail time by claiming to be a trans woman. I remember this one. This was over in the UK, I believe. Yeah, he got it. For some reason I think he might have been a sex offender too. And that was even worse if I remember the story right. Anyway. Just a couple more. Seattle demands all white city employees share examples of their own racism. Yes, the city of Seattle was having it wasn't even a diversity. It basically they have those critical race theory classes for white people in Seattle if you're in Seattle government. And so in those classes you have to share an example of your own racism. I got to tell you, if I was a white person in the city of Seattle, I would say, "Hey, city of Seattle, fuck off, get the fuck out of here." Just you know what? I'll treat people. How about if I just stick with the golden rule, huh? Is the golden rule still cool? Because that's where I'm at. I don't give a shit. Good Lord. Oh my God. Teen who battered multiple child rapists with a pool cue in Palmont jail let off by judge over exceptional circumstances. Teen who battered multiple child rapists with pool cue in Palmont jail let off by judge over exceptional. Well, that's a teenager who battered multiple child rapists with a pool cue at a young offender's nick has been shown mercy by the. Does that sound like good news to you? That sounds like good news. The judge gave him a little mercy because he beat the fuck out of a child rapist. I don't know. He's shown mercy, or at least, okay. Set off by judgment. Okay, I. That's not a headline that I would say is indicative of 2020. Good. Okay, let's cut a couple more. Japanese mayor says men should do shopping as women take too. Oh shit. Men should do shopping as women take too long. Mayor accused of sexism for saying women are indecisive. I have an anecdote from within my own home of the different styles in shopping between myself and Lady Boomer. See, when my wife asked me if I would like to go to the store with her, I know that means that we are going to meander around the store and just find things that oh, that looks like something we should get. Oh, maybe we should get that. Oh, no, maybe we should get that. I'm just like, I just keep pushing the cart and saying, looking at my watch and asking how long this is going to take. However, when I go shopping, I generally have a list of things that I need to get, and I beeline to each of those items, and I leave the store a long trip to the store for me is in the store time is 15 minutes. Occasionally there are times when I go where I'm like, oh, I want to check this out. But usually it's just, I got to get this, and this, and this. I get this, and this, and I'm in the checkout line. Goodbye. And even better, like when I go to Sam's Club, it's even better. Because see, when I go to, a long time ago when I first, Sam's Club was like, oh, you go to Sam's Clubs, you know you're not getting out of less $2. No, not even Sam's Club. I know if I'm going to go to Sam's Club, I know what I'm going to get, and I have their Sam's Club app, and I can scan those packages while I'm picking them up, and I can be in and out of Sam's Club in 10 minutes because I don't have to wait in the line. I just go do that, pay for it online, and boom, I'm out the door. Mayor accused of sexism for saying women are indecisive. Ooh, hello, all you need. All right, I'm going to finish up here with these last couple headlines that I got to get upstairs. Man shows up in blackface to Toronto protest. Quickly gets arrested by police. Now, I remember this one too, and I can't remember why this guy did this, but they arrested him. I don't know why. I have no idea. But welcome to Toronto. All right, moving on. Here now, and finally, don't forget the cite accredited sources, read peer-reviewed studies, and most of all, trust the experts. So this is a dichotomy of what's happening. 1 egg a day lowers your risk of type 2 diabetes. Controversial study says it promotes fatty acids that protect you from the disease. That was on January 3rd, 2019. November 16, 2020, eating just 1 egg a day increases your risk of diabetes by 60%, study warns. I'm just going to leave those there side by side for a second. Lowers type 2 diabetes, increases your risk of diabetes. Peer-reviewed studies. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta call it a day. No one's in the queue, so I'm gonna call off the call-in show. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, Happy New Year. That's hopefully your 2021 will bring something that makes it worthwhile for you in the coming 12 months that didn't happen for you in the last 12 months. Hopefully, life comes a little bit back to normal thanks to vaccines and people just saying fuck it, which is I fit the latter category. But may you have a healthy and happy 2021. Also, as we wrap up this 500th episode of the Morning Night Live, I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank everyone who comes here and enjoys the show and participates in the chat or just lurks in the background or watches watches the replays. All of you have made it fun for me to continue doing this. It's a joy to do. I also thank you to people who do the likes, who do the super chats, who do just all the things that give me feedback. It's greatly appreciated. I am looking forward to the next 500 episodes over the next year and a half or two or however long that takes. It's funny, it doesn't take that long when you are doing this 5 days a week, but it still takes you some time. So all of you who join us on the regular and have brought new people with you, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to do the Morning Night Live, and I greatly appreciate you. Just realizing I didn't press that button. Anyway, thank you. I hope you have a great day. I am here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, Monday through Friday, and hit the like button on your way out. Hit the share the stream, and donation information is down in the description down below. Thank you so much again. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Happy New Year.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.